formatting cells.
What was chapter? The book? You got a book I could borrow for him or no? I got one.
I did have a question. You know how the shortcut where you double click? Can you do that? You can't do that across the row, right? You can only do that on
It's
the side.
vertical.
Okay.
Yeah. The fast fill.
Yeah, the fast fill. Okay. I was trying to do that on something and I was like, all right,
Oh,
why doesn't this work? And
Yeah, I know.
then I sit there, well, I'll just drag it across. And
Yeah, I know. I get it.
so there was one exercise where,
Oh, sorry. No, that's okay. I don't need to do it. That's fine.
but there was one exercise that if you format, you can format across. So like you wanted to do the average at the end of a row, you could format across. Is that how
You can drag across. Use
yeah.
the pull handle.
pull
To go
across? And
across
that's what I ended up
Or
doing.
go up. I know there was one.
Yeah, there's one where you can't go up. I do that, but I'm
Yeah.
sitting there thinking, all right. So it's just really going down. Gotcha.
And before this version, we would use the pull handle just to drag it down.
Yeah.
But now that in the 2016, they've added this in that we can do that. Get the pull handle with just double click and then carries it down.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I won't back up. I'm going to start with this. It's going to be GCF Learn Free. It's number 22. It's the only video on tables. Like I say, table section I think is a little bit simpler. Next week's is going to be
Community foundations, creating opportunities for a better life.
11.
Tables are a great way to add more advanced formatting to your worksheets, like banded rows, preset color schemes, and other design elements that can save you tons of time. Let's take a look. To create a table, all you have to do is select the cells you want to include. Then click the Format as Table command on the Home tab. Here you'll find several different styles to choose
All right.
from.
It's louder.
Just pick whichever one appeals to you the most. You can always choose a different table style later. If you want your table to have special formatting in the header row, make sure you leave this box checked. You can also change the selection if you need to. When you're ready, click OK. And now we have a table. Notice that every table includes filtering by default, which will let you sort your data or narrow it down depending on what you need. You can apply filtering anytime using the drop-down arrows here. If you need to fit more content into your table, not to worry. Excel gives you 2 ways to add more columns or rows in the same style as the rest of the table. Just enter your data in any adjacent column or row, and it'll be roped into the table automatically. You can also click, hold, and drag the bottom right corner to create any size table you need. This is looking pretty good. I think I'm ready to try some different formatting options now. For that, you'll find everything you need on the Design tab, which appears anytime you have your table selected. Remember how I said you could change your table style once you added one to your worksheet? You can do that here using the options in the Table Styles group. And this time you get a preview. This is one of the benefits of using tables in Excel. They make it easy to change the look and feel of your worksheet, and it's a lot faster than formatting the cells yourself. Why don't we go with this one? Next to the table styles, Excel gives you a few more options for customizing your table. For example, you could add special formatting to the last column to make it stand out, or you could add a total row. These will all look slightly different depending on the table style you've chosen, so you might need to experiment to get the look you want. If you change your mind, you can always remove the table from your workbook without losing any of your data. Just be aware that this can cause issues with cell formatting, so it should only be done if you truly intend to start over. All you have to do is make sure your table is selected, then click Convert to Range on the Design tab. Next, click Yes to confirm, and the range will no longer be a table. The Design tab has disappeared, but you can still adjust the formatting manually using the options on the Home tab. You can even use the Clear command to restart your formatting from scratch. Now you know how to add and remove tables in Excel.
So what we're going to do is actually go into that. So if you want to pull up GCF Learn Free on your computers, this is number 22, I believe. We'll play with the practice file a little bit. Gotta remember to edit when it'll look kind of familiar because it's the same thing she just showed us. Let me know when you get it open and enable editing. Work together on this.
So you want us to download the practice workbook, right?
Yeah, download it and I'll put it in the bottom left corner of your screen and then you can open it up from there. You're in the right place. Click on this guy. And Excel. Scroll down and find number 22, I think it is.
So, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, there they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't need three of them, but go ahead and just open one of them.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, I'll have to close the whole thing out eventually. And then you just need to click on the needle editing at the top to actually do stuff with it. Let's see if I can make mine a little bit bigger. Smaller. So I like what she did with, basically you just need to highlight the range that you want to have in there, including the header row titles. And format as tables right in that middle section on the home tab between conditional formatting and cell styles. Notice one thing, and I found out now from the beginner's book, why I've got one button for cell styles, and some of you at me on your screen have this wide thing showing a bunch of cell styles. It has to do with the size of the screen and also some settings. So I haven't quite figured out how that setting can be adjusted, but right now I just have a button for cell styles. So anyway.
So where we go, format as table?
Format as table. And to start with, you can choose any one you want. They've got them split up into 3 groups, light, medium, and dark. We'll see later we can actually create our own, but let's just use something to get started. It'll give you this dialog box, and it kind of reconfirms that I choose the right range, A2 to D9. Yep, that looks good. And checkbox for headers. Click OK, and now it's a table. One of the things about tables, well, just like a lot of other things, if we had pictures, it might be a picture tool tab. With tables, we get this table tools tab with a bunch of good stuff on it. But when I'm over in the white space, that goes away. So I need to be someplace in the table to get it to work.
You said a tables too?
Yeah, if you're in the table itself,
Oh, in the table?
someplace in the table, then you get this new table tools design up there. And that allows us to do a bunch of different things. I like some of these things. I used to do a lot of this work manually. And I didn't know they had all these styles and stuff. Maybe they didn't earlier. But we got all these styles. And I like this group of buttons here too. So we're going to play with these a little bit. Depending on the style you have, when you click on last column, usually it makes it either bold or highlighted some way. You can do first column too. In case one I got here just makes them bold and black. Sometimes it'll give you a new background depending on what kind of style you got. The thing I really like is that total row one. Boom. By just clicking on that, now I got a total in here. And the cool thing about this is you can actually change it from total to sum. I mean, it's sum right now basically, but you can make it average, whatever. And you can do it for every column you've got in there. So for instance, I want to know how many, what was the quantity of stuff we sold. So I'm just going to click on that pull down and put a sum in there. Oh, sold 130 items. Unit price, well, I probably wouldn't want to do a total on that. So I'm going to do unit price and just change it to average to see what the average cost is of what we're selling, our good food here. Oh, $2.69. Now, I wouldn't leave it like this without notes because you don't know that's, well, you can probably, we could guess, okay, that's an average. Those two, yeah, they look like totals. But you can use different formulas for each column if you want to. That thing's kind of cool.
So on the quantity,
I got to this one, I did the pull down and use sum.
oh, the pull down, okay.
By the way, when you highlight a certain range, probably mentioned this a few times, but I really like the fact that we can do a double check. Way down here, it says the sum is 130. And counted 7 things and gave me an average. I wasn't too interested in counter average, but a lot of times that's helpful just to see if the formula or the thing I put in there makes sense.
In the area where we just did the total, sum, and I'm not sure where it's at. Can we put a note there, one of those flags with the note, or?
I would probably just like right below here, I'd probably type in average cost or something,
okay.
average unit price or something. Just,
Gotcha.
yeah. I guess, I don't know if you want to put it in the cell itself. I think I would probably do it down below.
All right, yeah, I didn't know if that'd make it confusing, or if someone's looking, what is that?
Yeah. Or maybe even insert a row and put in the name above it saying it's average cost, total quantity, total line total or something like that. That's why, you know, if I didn't have these, if I didn't have anything in these two and just had this one, that's straightforward. Also, I know we're going to have an exercise where they actually have us change the name over here. It defaulted to total, but it could do the same thing. You could change it. You could actually type in, like, you want just to have the average in here and not the total. You could rename this average. Or I think since they have the pull down, it actually has average in there. Oh, it doesn't like that though. I would probably just type in average. And change this formula to actually be average. Okay, see, 46 is our average of all these things we sold. I haven't played with it yet, but I like the fact that now once you have it in a table, it's real easy to change the style, and it gives you that preview in advance now too. So here's where some of them in highlighting the first and last column actually, you know, puts the color background in the white font instead. You can even see that from the previews here. Looking at these, you can see, oh, these are going to darken in. These didn't darken them in. These didn't really darken them, so they probably just have. If I highlighted one of those, it'd probably just show. Back to the black bold on the first and last column.
I got a question here. Do you have to do the drop down? So you typed average in the menu item. Is it automatically, or do you have to type? Do you have to go into the drop down to get there?
I did, the drop down and changed it to average.
Okay, so you have to do that manually.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it defaulted to being the sum.
gotcha.
There's one thing we can do, which is going to be more helpful, I think, when we get to looking at pivot tables or stuff, but there's a thing called slicers. So I'll just introduce you to this. What a slicer is basically is a list of things that you can filter on. So I'm going to click on that and menu item. I think I want a slicer for menu item.
I'm sorry, where'd you go?
Go back here. Insert slicer. It's under the tools, a little bit towards the left of the design one.
Okay.
What this did is just bring up everything in the list. Now this is a short list, so it's not real important. But the nice thing about this is you can choose one item. You can choose multiple items that aren't next to each other. I use the control key to do that. Or you could use your shift key to choose a range. I want to know all the tamales, so I'll do that. So you can actually real quickly filter it. And actually what I did there then, filter button actually showed, this changed from just being the triangle to having the filter in it. So here I'm just on tamales. This is pretty simple, so it didn't matter too much, but slicers can be fun.
When you go to insert slicer, does it depend on which table style you have? Because mine shows just this.
Because right now you're showing column 1, 2, 3 across here.
So it just shows the headers?
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, go ahead and close that for a minute. Well, I was going to say, let's back up some because you lost the titles that were in there. Now it just says column 1, 2, 3. Can you do a couple undos for me? Here's your quick access tool. Let's see. That's weird. Oh, it's down below, I see. Maybe a couple more. Might take you back almost to the beginning, I guess. But you're not getting your price. So now when you go ahead and go back, you're on the home tab, format this table, this time make sure it didn't show you that. Go ahead and click on one of those. That is marked. Okay. Now to get the names in there again. And you can actually do it with this. You don't even have to put it in the total row. Well, if you put it in the total row, then you'll be able to see how it'll impact it. So now go to insert slicer. And now you got the names. So you can just click on menu item. That's what I used. The others I don't really want to filter on.
So when I clicked on the original menu items, they were all highlighted, so I had to.
Yeah, it'll initially highlight everything because if you looked
Okay.
back up here, we hadn't filtered anything. So I
Oh,
showed
everything. So, okay, so you're filtering there with the.
And now we're
slicer.
filtering with this
Slicer.
thing which actually shows the names of everything that was in there.
So that's where you have to kind of just, even though they're all highlighted, is unhighlight the ones that you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's a short list, so it's pretty easy, like I just want to Rapas.
What?
Is that how it's pronounced, Rapas?
Oh, you're talking about the menu.
Carnitas and
Oh.
How do you, no,
Blanca.
see, everything's highlighted, so how do you unhighlight that whole?
I just started highlighting something. In
Oh,
this case, just highlight one, or point to
Oh,
one thing,
yeah.
it'll just show them one thing. And you can use either your shift key to do a range. Hi, welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm so late. I'm sorry about that.
You can sit either there
yeah, move this.
or here. Any of these machines with a little light blue tag on it.
Okay, I'll sit here.
Okay.
How you doing?
All right.
Good. Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Be on time next week, I'm sorry.
Well, we're gonna have a discussion towards the end of the class. Would it be better to be 10 to 2 than 9:30 to 1:30?
I don't
Just
know how to
think
take
about
it to, yeah, because I had to get my daughter off and I got at least.
And Tiffany has to get her daughter off.
Yeah.
And Cynthia's coming from the airport almost.
I have to cook for my mom.
Yeah, I'd rather at 10 o'clock. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Mom.
And they just need to bring more snacks or something.
Good boy.
Actually, we're starting a new job, so.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a new job. At Abbott?
and Evan.
Yeah.
Wow. Where do you live again?
Elgin. Elgin,
That's it.
So you're gonna be going that way.
yeah.
So you probably, I have it up in, Keegan there, area?
Okay, okay.
Is that right?
You
So
know-
I'm gonna be at the desk planes.
Oh,
Oh,
display.
just plans. Oh, okay. Yeah, in the Gurney office, a lot of our students are the ones that have worked at Abbott or Abbey or Baxter, or one of the medical groups. And it was funny because actually one of my students got laid off from there, and one of her buddies that was in her outplacement class just got hired there, probably in different areas. But,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah, they're booming right now in this place. They're booming right now.
What are you gonna be doing?
Manufacturing technician. It's just kind of entry level, but like I'm kind of been out the field for a few years, so I'm getting back in. But he's saying they got a new product coming in and they need, he said they're just growing exponentially. They just need people left and right, so.
What does
sounds
a
like Amazon.
manufacturing technician do?
Huh?
What does a manufacturing technician do?
Putting the kits together, because I think they do HIV kits, so it's mostly gonna be putting the kits off the machine for right now. But he was saying, but he was saying
Production.
the certifications, what
Oh,
that I got,
certifications.
all of that, they're gonna expand that particular kit, and they're gonna need people as they grow.
Hmm.
in doing projects, they're gonna need people on the line, they're gonna need people doing different aspects of quality. So it could be a golden opportunity. So I took the job. I took it yesterday.
Okay, good.
Thank
What I'm
you.
gonna have you do first, get caught up with this, minimize this guy first. And then click on Google. Oops, I can't see it upside down. That's in Google.
There's no good one.
And then
You just put it down
So we used to always have that icon on there.
That's all right.
And we're going into GCF Learn Free, which is this tool I like to use. Short videos, but also has a little practice in it.
Okay.
So if you want to just type in GCF, it might show up in the list. And Microsoft Office, click on that one. It's gonna give you all the different versions of Office.
Okay.
16.
Oh, Office 16, yeah, sure.
And number 22, just watched a short video about doing a
22.
putting tables together. So we're playing with, right above it, that's got this practice
Okay.
file. So this practice file, that's what we're playing with. Right?
Okay. Sorry, I'm so late.
It did, down here at the bottom.
Oh, sorry.
You're like, that's double click.
Yeah.
Double click.
Files.
All of a sudden you got 3 files open.
Yeah.
Then you gotta go.
I actually don't need to know Excel for work to put the results. So I'm gonna need to know.
Yeah, there's enable editing. That's all I'll check. And I'll show you what we just did. Back up a little bit. Undo. Okay, so originally you probably had something look kind of like this, menu with stuff in it. And what I'm doing is I'm highlighting the titles, the header row, and everything in it. And then on the home tab, there's a thing called Format as Tables. I'm gonna click on that guy.
You're like, man, it's looking for those things. It's back to the left.
Wait, format, where is it at?
Format as Table.
I'm where?
Right here.
Okay. Pardon with me, I.
No, that's fine.
I was going last
And you can, to start with, you can choose any style you want,
Okay.
just to get some style on it.
Get started.
And we wanted to have, there's a checkbox saying, do we have headers? We want to keep that checked, because we do.
Okay.
And then okay. That turns it into a table. And the neat thing about tables is there's a new tab up here called Table Tools. So for any place in the table, this will show up. If you're off in white space, it won't show up. And what we can do there is highlight different things. Like we can make the first and last column really stand out. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, I personally, well, in the past I wasn't fond of banded rows.
Yeah, I think.
Banded rows, you know, light, dark. If this was really long spreadsheet, that would be really handy because, you know, your eyes can't really travel across. I'd probably wander down or something without that. But if we didn't want banded rows, we could uncheck that, take it away. I'll leave it checked. You know, there's another one, they got banded columns, which to me is kind of a waste on this one because it's only four columns. So I'll take that off. I'll leave that one on. I'm going to highlight the first and last column again.
Where
And
do you find the banded rows?
that's right under total row. Up top there, there's one of those check boxes.
Oh, on the tools.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
And
Oh, there.
just like, one of the good things to do, it's slow coming up sometimes, so that you hover over that individual thing, it'll actually give you explanation and say, this is what it does. Little sample there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when I did the insert slicer, you go back into the, it won't pull up the design won't pull up the header stuff when you click inside the chart.
Really?
Yeah, I've got one line.
Let me catch up with you here. Yvonne, you have this, you something like this?
Because you gotta pardon me, because you can't really see that.
Oh, you're already trying to do a slicer.
Well, I listened to what he just said.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. You can click on that first button there.
Menu.
Yeah. And okay. And what it does, brings up this list of things.
Yeah.
And we can use it like a filter, either choose an individual thing or more than one. And if you want to choose a range, you can use the shift key and hit the first one and then the last one. Or you can use the control key to choose one here, one there, that kind of thing. But what I'd like you to do is go back into your table. Just click any place in there.
Okay.
And then up top, you got the table tools, design one. Click on the total row. It's called.
There it is. Was that the wrong side?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And automatically adds in a total on there. And what I was demonstrating to the class was actually a pull down on this. We could do average or sum or a lot of different things. In this case, that's actually what I did. I did for quantity. There's a little pull down arrow there, and I want to do sum for that. So 138 things that we sold. Unit price, I wasn't as interested in a total, but more interested in what's the average. We'd actually do different things for each column. I would probably label it though, since this no longer is just all totals. So this one I left as a sum of the 325. I added one for quantity, which gave me a total of those things. And then unit price, I did the pull down and chose average because I'm not really interested in totaling unit prices. They're all $2 or $3. It's like about $189 for the lowest. There's a challenge tab on our file though too, which if you want to click on the challenge tab, it's pretty similar. Only they got Korean barbecue tacos, grilled fish tacos with mango sauce.
Grilled fish.
Grilled fish and mango sauce tacos.
Sounds good.
I suppose if you're along the coast in Mexico or something, you might
Bang
get
shrimp.
Yeah.
I don't know what that. That one restaurant around here that does the bang bang shrimp or something.
bang bang.
Fish tacos.
Oh yeah.
They're still in business, if they're still in business.
There was what's that? Yeah, just over here a little bit. There was something fish house.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there's,
the one I'm thinking of.
there's Joe's Crab House north of the
Yeah,
mall.
not Joe's Crowds, this was something else. It was, I don't remember what this is.
Yeah, there's one kind of the south end of the mall. And one of my friends liked to go there. Said it was pretty good. I think I've only been there maybe once. Well, anyway, back to formatting his table. I'm going to highlight everything again in this one. And click on Format as Table. And give it something. By default, most of the time it'll say my table has headers. If that's not checked, make sure it's checked. Now I've got a table again. Let's see. If I highlight first and last column of mine, it just makes them nice and bold. They really stand out. And I'm also going to click on total row again, so I like to see that. This is the kind of stuff I used to do manually. So when I found out that there's the format as table, boom, 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 we can all do these things without, and add nice colors and lines and everything too without even really trying too hard. Once you get it set up, just scroll over the styles and choose maybe another one if you like one better. You got the light, medium, dark ones. I kind of like this one, but I wouldn't print this one. This one would take a lot of ink. And this is interesting too, the first and last columns have the highlighting stuff on it, so they just have the green background. And the two middle ones have the banded rows again. I take off first and last column, then flows across. And each table style works differently. That's what you can see when you look at the preview of these. We got plenty of styles here. There's what, like 40 or 50 styles. So if you wanted to use these, it's pretty easy to choose one and use it. We'll see later that we could actually create our own style. I know that's going to pop up in one of the exercises.
Really?
Yeah.
I mentioned, so I don't know if this is a setting thing for me, when I hover, it doesn't give me the description, it just shows.
Yeah, it's probably well, it's giving you a description, but not, yeah, it's not telling you what that does. That's interesting. That's probably in one of our settings just on this computer that's moving it up.
No busy.
Okay, right back here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when I want to get like, I want to change, so the quantity, I want to see what the average is or something.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. And it gives you that
It
list.
did that whole, because you're standing there.
Yeah, I know. In this class, it won't work until I look over your shoulder, then it'll work. I think that's enough for this one. Unless you want to play with it a little bit longer. Do you need reading glasses?
Pretty much, yeah.
Zeroing in on that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got two pair of glasses. One pair.
Actually, I'm going to the doctor's next week, so.
All right.
I'll manage.
One pair I can't do the computer other pair.
I didn't
They
need,
changed this from 2013. Because I did 2013 at school.
Mhm.
I know that they changed some of the features.
a few, yeah.
That's
We got a little intro video that talks about how between 10, 13, and 16, there aren't a lot of differences, but there are a few. One of the ones that I like to use is called the fast fill, where if you want to drag down, fast food, drag down plus bar, you can actually double click it and it'll carry it down. There's also something new called Tell Me What You Want to Do.
Okay.
That's nice. That feature's nice.
Tell me what you want to do is cheating in a way, but if you want to know font color or whatever, you just type something in there and it'll bring up a list of options. And actually what it's doing is pulling up things from the different menus. Like if I do, let's see, if I do, add a comment, let's see, how about style, color?
Is that making your own? What do you think?
Well, I'm just saying, if I didn't know where it was, and I could just type in, tell me what you want to do, and it brings up some things.
Yeah.
It's guessing at what I wanted. Oh,
I
fill
like
color,
that. That's a nice
font
feature.
color, change the theme. Like right now, we're in a certain theme here.
Okay, so I gotta be at the table to do that?
No, and just tell me what you want to
Just
do.
tell me what you want to do. over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's.
And
that
just
is-
type in whatever it is. Let's see, I want
Whatever
to,
you might need help.
yeah, it's kind of like a help thing. And actually
Used to be
below
that
that, there's
question mark,
also a help button in here that you can get more information.
It used to be the question mark.
Yeah, it used to be the question mark up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, what was that question mark? I was doing that
Light
too.
or the light bulb.
Took me a while to find out that was down here. Why isn't it up there? It should be up there. I'm not Dan Suter. He's a good man, though. I like him. So, and I know in the video she pointed out too that like if we want, we can take filtering off completely. And there's a button there for filters. If I click on that, boom, filters are gone. Well, it defaults to having filters with tables, and most of the time that's a handy thing. So I probably wouldn't take that off. And I think she pointed this out too. If we didn't want a table anymore, but just like the fonts and the colors we had, this convert to range button would change it back into just flat bunch of numbers and letters.
Under the table tools.
Yeah, under table tools, convert to range. It's keeping the fonts and the colors I got there. Now it's not a table. So the table tools tab disappeared now.
But you lose all your formulas, right? And your filters.
You lose the filters. It did keep, in this case, I just had the sum down here. It kept that in there.
Okay.
And we, as you pointed out, we could change things in here by using the stuff in the font section, if you wanted like different colors for the, say, I didn't want white, I wanted red. We do, we can change things manually. Does that show up? No, it doesn't show up very well. Or not. Undo.
So the convert to range would be useful if I'm understanding. So like I'm working on this spreadsheet. I need these filters and all this, but when I need to send this to somebody to look at, I don't want them to see all my filters and stuff. So then I could convert it.
You could, yeah. Or you could leave, I normally wouldn't take that off, I'd probably leave it on. If you wanted to send it to them, just have it for them to look at and not play with it and filter or change things around.
I could either protect it or just.
Yeah, now you could protect it too, something different. You could protect that whole thing and then you couldn't do anything to it except look at it unless you get your password.
So I guess it depends on who I'm sending to and what. Like if I want them to be able to manipulate the data, then I can leave the filters and all that. But if I just want to do it as a presentation type thing.
Actually, what I did with presentations, a lot of times, you can actually embed Excel files in your PowerPoints and stuff. That makes the PowerPoint huge. It's a lot of space. So what I would usually do, if I wanted to have this in the presentation, I would just make a picture out of it. I'd copy and paste it as a picture.
I've hyperlinked those.
Yeah.
But the problem I've run into hyperlink, I've run into an issue where I can't pull up the hyperlink in the presentation, for some reason. And I don't know, it might have been the company's setup where it wouldn't allow for it, but I could do it on my laptop. But I could not do it if I connected my laptop to the screen, to the smart TV, which is what we were using, it would not allow me to go in and pull the hyperlink in.
You need to be linked into their Wi-Fi system or something.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. So I ended up a lot of times making a picture of it. Or,
I know.
Or actually minimizing it and then pulling up the
actual.
Yeah.
I know in Word, I just did the Word, advanced Word. You can link them, like if you're going from Word to, and like do like a report, you can link it from Word to Excel and change it and go back to Word and go back and forth. You can do that.
And one of the things that, I don't know if we had it yet or we will, but like if I wanted to link something from here to this one, we can do that too. We can link we can have hyperlinks within the document or out to a web page or out to a link for an email. If you want more information, email us here and then I'll put a link in for that kind of thing too. So this is enough of this. I'm going to close this, not save it. And actually, I'm going to go into the book first and just walk through what they had for this chapter. Like I said, we don't have a lot of extra stuff. And the geometrics test I put together is kind of short. So if you're in the book, I'm actually just going to go to the practice task. So this is on page 107. And what I'm going to do, if you're not familiar with it, let me back up again so I can show it. On your home screen, you should have desktop files and folders. So if you double click on that, our views will be a little different. Like in my case, I had to look around for it, but I think there's mine. You may have a list like Excel, Word, PowerPoint at this point, but I've got Microsoft 2016 practice tasks. So I actually have to double click on that one. It brings up Excel, Excel Expert, Word, etc. I'm just going to open up Excel. And this is chapter 3, so objective 3.
Hold on, sorry. You said what's the initial file? See Microsoft Excel
Maybe MOS 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, MOS 2016 Excel. And then we're in objective 3, which is chapter 3. I don't know why they call them objectives.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into 3-1. maximize this. Big table of sales. You got a bunch of people with various columns in here. First thing they want us to do is convert this to a table from A2 to M23. So it's one clear column at the end there. So A2 to M23. By the way, one of the things I showed in here, if you have a hard time painting, I'm a painter, so I don't have a hard time with this, but if you want to be in the first cell, find your last cell and hold the shift key and click on it, you'll cover that range.
So, and we're gonna have an empty, a blank column.
Yeah, I'm actually going off, so I need to go one more.
Yeah.
Whoops, didn't mean to do that, copy.
Oops.
So wait, say that again, you're going to,
A2 to M23.
M23?
It's the blank column, we're adding that into this.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna format it as table. Anything you want, they say default setting, but I don't know anything's called default in here, so anything you want. And we do have header rows, so we'll include that. One thing about,
Format as table, yeah, then I have to.
it's right next to the cell styles.
Oh, okay.
In your case, my cell styles was just one little button, but yours was spread out a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do, I didn't mention this before, but when you set up a table, you can actually name it, and it's got a place up here. It defaulted to table 1. They want us to give it a name though, change that.
Oh, that's what I missed when I was doing this. I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out where that
Where is
was.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So up there, just rename it from table 1 to Toys 2016.
Is that a percent?
Pardon
Oh,
me?
rename the whole file?
No, we're renaming the
Up in
table. Up
So if
here
you
where it
click
says
on the,
table 1.
table, I had trouble with this. Click on the table, then you should be able to extend your design. Be able to pull up your.
It's way on the right side.
Right here?
Table,
Okay.
table 2.
Yeah, so I was looking for that, and when I was doing this, I was like,
Where is that?
where is
So we
that?
changed the name to what? What's the name?
Toys 2016.
Oh. Okay,
That was
okay,
it.
gotcha.
That was the only thing I couldn't do, and I couldn't figure that out.
If you want to follow me in the book too, this is page 107 in the book. It's the practice tasks in there. Now, they happened to notice that they were goofy.
Okay.
If you look at this thing, we got January, February, and then we got July. Hey, July doesn't come after February.
February, March.
So we're gonna move July, so I'm clicking on column D. By the way, Yvonne, there's, like Microsoft has built 3 ways or 4 ways to do everything. A lot of people are keyboard people. I was a keyboard person a long time ago with something called Lotus 1, 2, 3. And then when we transferred over to, Lotus. Oh, yes, way back when.
How about Cobalt? Cobalt, Fortran.
Well, I learned Fortran, not Fortran 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
And we had these nice cards, and you type them up and put them
Yes.
in. And it would always fail because I missed the comma. Or,
Down at the Museum of Science and Industry, same one. and
yeah,
I think it came right from my campus, I swear. It had a whole building designed to run your program,
oh, yeah.
and then you got yourself into a do loop.
University of Illinois had that great big building. They had one of the first supercomputers,
Yeah.
which is probably about like our phone now.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay, where do you want me to do column D?
We're gonna move it. So I'm highlighting it. I'm gonna move it over where it should be between June and August. So I'm highlighting it. I'm gonna right click and cut. Now it's got it highlighted. See, it's highlighted there.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go, when you want to insert something, you need to go to the cell to the right of it or the one below it if we're talking about rows. But here I'm gonna click on August and right click and insert cut cells. And when I point at that and click on it, boom, now I got July in the right place. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Oh, there's no December. Well, we'll get to that, I think.
If you want, just click on you.
Okay.
Now, the list of people was supposed to be alphabetical too, but they goofed that up too. They went Alan and Brock, and then they had Linda, Max, and Nancy. We want them between K and Olivia. I'm gonna highlight rows 5, 6, 7. Same kind of thing I did with July though, but this time we're doing rows. I'm gonna right click and cut. Now it's giving me the highlight of those. I'm gonna go to the row below where I want to put this. So I want it between K and Olivia. So I'm going down to Olivia on 17. Right click and insert cut cells.
Oh, that's what I did wrong.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried to paste them.
Oh, try to paste.
It wouldn't let you paste, it would say you have to do, it was too big to paste.
Oh, something, yeah, if you're taking a great big
You're
thing.
taking a big thing,
Yeah.
it's like, I was trying to figure out what I did wrong, and I was like, I know you can do it. It's like, so, yeah.
Now we got Linda, Max, and Nancy in the right place. I mean, there's other workarounds for it too, like if I inserted 3 rows there, I could copy and paste it down and then deleted those early rows, but that's more work.
Yeah, well, it won't let you copy and paste 3 rows.
Really?
Yeah, it tells you, give it a try. More than, it only allows you to,
Because it's too much data or something?
yeah.
The size that you're trying to copy. And
I mean, I did cut, I didn't do paste, I mean, copy. I did cut and,
What did I do? Did I do copy?
you did copy, we were talking copy, I did cut,
Let me do 3 rows.
Yeah.
Cut them.
yeah,
I'm gonna paste them down here.
so watch it work for you. No,
Now,
see,
paste won't work, but
Yeah.
that's because right below it, it said insert cut cells.
Yeah.
If I had done this,
yes, yeah, then it went,
it would, well, it would, but except
yeah, because you
overlap
copy,
there.
yeah. Yeah, that's something I'm going, I
Yeah,
didn't
insert
realize.
cut cells will allow you to do that.
Yeah. I learned, that's what, it's like, I learned that, it's like, but that's what I missed when I was doing that, is insert cut cells.
Insert cut cells. Now they want us to add a person, they want us to add between Quentin and Steve, they want us to add a row. So it's my 19 and 20, I suspect it is in yours too. I'm just gonna click on 20. This time I'm just gonna right click and insert. And what that's gonna do is just put in a row in there. Then they want us to put in a name for this new person called Raina. And they didn't tell us to do anything other than put her name in there. So that should do that. It's funny, I think I mentioned this, in 2016, now we got the results. And the results, they actually spelled it differently. They spelled Reina, they spelled it Rena, R-E-I-N-A.
Oh.
I was like, you guys, if you're gonna give us the answers, you should do things
Right, yeah.
in the same way. Anyway. Then they want us to add a row at the very bottom below Victor and put in a salesperson, William. So I'm just I went to that spot, I'm just gonna start typing in William.
I did insert.
And I'm gonna hit enter. And just, I think you mentioned this in the video.
I'm very
we
confused.
Does it
I'm
keep
very
my formatting?
confused.
Like, I-
See, I go over your shoulder.
Yeah,
Look
very
over your
confused.
shoulder.
And I gotta catch up with them.
Right.
I'm at the first, Linda, Max, and Nancy, I'm at that.
Okay, highlight over here, row 5, 6, and 7. Not, yeah. Keep going down now. You can actually just scroll that too, but that works too. Now right click.
So right click the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd stay over here, but you can right click any place just says we go.
Okay, and then,
Wait, you don't have to.
yeah.
You just have the first row. So-
Oh, okay, well, let me. So just say go 5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, and 7.
Oh.
Stay over here. Yep.
Okay.
Right click,
It's fine with that. Whatever.
cut.
Then cut, and then
You go down between,
you go, so it's really this one, right?
it's after Olivia.
Yeah, so do I have to do the whole row?
Now I want you to.
Oh, just go right
get
here,
to the side again,
okay,
And right click,
and then right click.
insert cut cells.
Oh, okay, okay, got you, okay.
So for 2 weeks, or maybe the first week, the kids second week, but I don't know.
And then we entered a row between Quentin and Steve.
Add a row to the table for salesperson name too. So add a row,
Yeah,
Ms.
so-
Raina.
What I did was go down to Steve
It's a lot, but it's good.
and click on Steve. Or
Steve.
row,
I'll go to Steve.
in that row.
Kids.
Can you insert, can you just insert cell?
Well, we don't
I mean,
want to
insert
cell.
row, insert row, insert row. So highlight the whole row,
Then right click.
and then you can hit insert.
And it added a row in there. and then
Okay, yeah, you just insert
Type in her
cell.
name,
Okay.
that first one.
And then you put the name. Add a row to a salesperson name. It's when you put it at Steve.
Because.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
And then the next thing they want us to do is at the bottom of the list, add William to it. And all you really need to do, nice thing about tables is they'll rope in whatever you put in consecutive in nearby cells. If I skipped a row, it wouldn't do it, but
Yeah, but as long as you can, yeah.
as long as I'm in, right connected to it, we'll do that. Type William in row 25, we'll just pop him in there. That's gonna make us do a little bit more work, but they want us to actually go to column N, the end of the table, and add in December. So next to where it said column something, column 1, I typed in December, and they wrote that in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then, I mean, they're making us do extra work. I would have just typed over column 1 and made it December there. Now they want us to just delete column M, so we move
Okay, you just
December.
go to the sign and just hit insert column.
Because if I delete him, I'm deleting my December row, so I just add.
Did you put December in the column next to it?
No, I inserted, no, I don't know what I did.
All
right, that's we can get rid of the last column.
Yeah, because they asked you to add a column.
I added.
It's
I should have done it here.
It's an awkward,
But it's an awkward
exercise.
thing. I would have just typed over column 1.
I would have just
December
typed
right
it
there,
there,
but
but third
They
second.
wanted to show us how we could enter it and then, yeah, so just type in the space next to it there.
Okay,
Type December in there for TC.
What'd you have me do? Oh, insert, and it kept the formula, right?
So when I did, it,
so insert,
This
okay,
one.
insert.
Mhm.
To the right.
You inserted a new
it
column.
did December on its own.
It guessed. Microsoft's pretty smart with dates, with months, with days of the week.
Okay.
It'll know how to do that. And I don't know if you got a chance to do it with the early one, but if you typed in a cell, I'll just demonstrate it. If I just typed in a blank cell, Monday, I spell it right. And if I get the pull handle and drag it down, it automatically, it's built into Excel that it knows what to do with days, months, dates too. This is where I'll give an example of, see, this was 1/1. Yeah, actually, January 1st was a Monday, wasn't it? I could pull this down, or I can use the fast fill, which is the new thing in 2016. Get the black plus bar, double click, boom, it carries it out. I could still drag it down, it would still let me do that. It does the same thing. Now, this is a short one here, but if that's a really long list, having that fast fill, I think, is a pretty handy thing. What else do they want us to do here? Well, that's basically it for this assignment.
So wait, I'm sorry, how did you insert your December? What did you do? Because I ended up having to do 2 steps. I had to get rid of N.
Well, let me back up, because what they had is, oh, that's my extra demonstration.
Okay.
What they originally wanted us to do is type it over here next to that one column.
Oh.
So that's- And they want to just, I think, show us again
2
that,
steps anyway. Okay.
yeah, it's 2 steps. They just wanted to show us that we can rope in additional columns or rows. Whoops, I'm in the wrong place. Hitting enter, and then automatically pulls it in there. And then they had us get rid of this extra column.
Because no, we do is just insert it.
So you get rid of the December column, right?
Now we're getting rid of the extra one that says
Oh, the
column
one that says
one,
column, okay.
which is a lot more work that we really need to do. What I would have done is just changed, like, just typed in December,
Okay.
and the next column, we'd have it in there.
More than one of these.
It's enough with,
We really just not column M on mine, it was column N.
did you put December in column N or column
I
N?
put December in column M.
Yeah, well, then you just need to delete column N. Whichever one is not your December, the one you need to delete.
I got a question on when we put the table name in.
Mhm.
This is, for toys, where does that go? Is that something when you print or is that?
No, it's just one of those background things that we would normally not see. I think if you went out and looked at properties, it might show up in properties. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't. I think it's more of an internal thing, but if you wanted to send this table to somebody else,
So you would have to save it first? It's
if
not
you wanted
like
to just send the table, but not like the rest of your worksheet, you could do that. Yeah, I'd probably save it as a separate file name.
Okay.
Toys
Yeah,
2016.
that's what I was curious because it just doesn't make sense to me to put a name up there and then.
Oh, yeah, if you have more tables on the file.
Yeah, if you had
More
different,
than one table.
yeah, if you had like 5 tabs in here, we had 2014, 15, 16,
But it's not
20.
showing up at the tab, that's where,
Yeah, it'd be on the, just table tools, design.
or would you go to the next one? I guess that's my,
Yeah, if we had multiple tables here, like
so,
different years or
I
something.
think I think if you have multiple tables on one file, I think they would label,
okay.
each
Okay.
table would have
So it
their own
wouldn't show
name,
up in the
right?
tab underneath though?
No, it wouldn't show up,
No.
because that's the sheets.
Tab name.
Yeah, that's something
Sales.
else, right? Right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's two different things.
Microsoft is built in all these things that I think most of them are, well, for most of us are optional. I mean, do you put in your author name and, different things in here that they have under the properties? Most of the time not. But I think I wanted to know where those are in case you wanted to see who it was. And I think we might have had some exercises already. I know we'll have some later where it has us inspect those things and
Yeah.
remove them. So when we send it off, they don't know that Keith Davis put that file together or modified it recently. So I'm going to close this and not save it. Please don't save it because otherwise, next person that comes in and uses that 3-1 is going to have the answers already. And what I'm going to do is go to page 112 in the books. This is the exercises for 3.2. He wants to open up 3-2. Oops. Three days two looks probably sort of similar to what we were just working on. It's a little bit different. Sales again. We got the 12 months, but we also have a total sum on the far right, I think, for the year. We're gonna get real specific with this here, though. They want us to change the table style to table style medium 19. We got a table tool showing up. Within the light, medium, and dark, they basically go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry.
Medium 19 is gold.
Oh, they telling us which format to choose?
Yeah, they're giving us specific table style, medium 19 is what they want us to choose. They have a funny way of saying it. They say configure the table style options to form alternating rows with different colors. Why don't they just say banded rows? I don't know. So if you click on the banded rows button, then we'll have those alternating colors for different rows.
I mean, I gotta highlight my whole table first, right? Was it only?
So all you have,
No, it's
No,
already
it's for the
created
table
as a
styles.
table. Should be already a table, so then you just need to change the table style to that medium 19.
No, when I did that, it only changed one cell. So,
Really?
yeah. When I first, no, this is me correcting it.
Oh.
But when I first did it, only like the A1 had the gold.
Well, A1 is not in the table.
Or somewhere over there.
Yeah, that might be the problem, because A1 is, they've actually put an extra row or column in here. Yeah, that looks good. Then they want
you
us,
just, oh,
Different field colors.
they also want us to emphasize the first and last column, so that would be just those check boxes under table styles. And in my case, well, probably your case too, it probably makes some orange background and white font.
First and last column. So here we just click on first and last column, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then they want us to add the totals. This time though, they want us to actually change it. They want us to rename the word total, I think it's on line 26, and call it average. That's what we're actually going to do, I bet.
Use a drop down.
It doesn't work when you use the drop down.
Now drop down, because it's looking, there it's giving you formulas, it doesn't know what to do with that, because average of those names of people doesn't know what to do with that. But we will use it though on January, where I'm going to use average there.
Hold on.
why can't you, like Word, you can insert it up here. You can go to insert rows in Word. Why is it not in Excel like that? When you go to the insert tab in Word, you can just insert a row down there. They don't have that in Excel.
You can insert rows.
No, not from up here, not from the,
I would right click and insert wherever I wanted, like we did when we added Raina on that other one. We inserted a row.
okay. But it's different because in Word, you can insert up there. You have to insert, doing the right click to insert. That's what you're saying.
Well, Word and Excel are different.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit different, yeah.
So we're doing this. You highlighted
So
those.
the entire row.
And now we're clicking on the, click up here, back in the table again, so not the table, table tools, click on it. And click on the total row.
Total row.
And then add that in, but now we're changing it from the word total, type in the word average.
Yeah, that's weird that they wouldn't allow you.
Oh, okay.
Why they would have to be a formula there versus, because you're in a Word you're kind of in a Word document, that's why.
Well, it's got the formula there, but it doesn't, average doesn't make any sense with these
No.
So
things.
why they put the total?
But what I'm saying is, you're already in a Word format.
Yeah,
That's the part that it is what, you can't change that, I mean, that's what it is, so,
I mean, we'll also do certain things, like if I just want to count how many names are up there,
yeah,
gives me 23.
yeah,
So we'll do some things,
yeah, I got you.
but it didn't know what to do with sum, because how do you sum up words? And when I did January, once you get January average in there,
Yeah.
you can actually use the pull handle to drag that across. Whoops. So hit-
That's where I wanted to try, and I tried that double click and.
Yeah, it doesn't know what to do sideways. I went all the way to the year too. I'm making a year.
How come your average looks different from my average? What's your average look like? My average is
Do you have there? 54 or something.
That's weird. Values are just.
okay now.
The thing I think is interesting about tables, I'm used to having formatting that I put in manually.
It's
I know why I
interesting,
did
the
that.
values are, some of mine are different than
Yeah.
I think.
You know what?
Oh, no, they're right, you're too far over. That's it.
If the pull handle in the corner, the black plus bar in the corner.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, that guy.
I just realized you were farther over to the right.
Oh.
And you can actually drag it all the way into the year or two.
But when I did that, that's when I had that different over.
That is different.
So is it giving me the average of that row instead of that column?
Now that could be,
That's why.
see,
that's
I
what
just
I
this one, I want to see what it says in there. Actually, it's just pulling in February. It says it's doing something with February.
If you had dragged it all the way across and hadn't stopped, I think you would get
I can
52,000.
use these. We get the same, am I getting the same number she's getting?
So what do you have, what column are you in?
August, I got 45.73.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can either, you just drag it across also.
Oh, you can just drag it?
Grab
Get the,
go back
get
to
the pull
corner,
handle that
January,
plus
for January.
like plus bar.
Grab January. See the little plus in the corner
Uh-huh.
on the right. very
Okay,
close.
yeah, I see it.
Lower right here.
Yeah.
Okay, drag that all the way
So just
across.
drag it.
Yeah, hold it and drag it across.
Just hold it and drag it across.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was kind of questioning it. And if you take it all the way to, so if you drag it one more, it'll give you this. Grab that one more spot there.
It may give you 43 or something.
No, cancel that.
Okay, did it now.
Do you want to replace it?
No, you don't want to do that. I think what happened is because you stopped short.
Because I stopped.
Actually, what you can do is on that one cell, just do the pull down on it.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Makes sense.
Let's get the pull down handle in the corner and just click on average.
It gives you-
But you can drag it. Okay.
Yeah, you can drag it across.
Drag it across, yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention that I think is interesting about tables, if I had set this up manually and dragged it across, I'd have black and white here. But in a table, it kept the formatting of that last column by keeping it whatever we previously set. I think that's kind of nice, because I'm so used to dragging across something manually and then having to change the fonts and everything if I want it to really be the same as the stuff in that column. Let's see. That's all they want us to do on that tab. There's another tab called bonuses, another file in there. It's actually kind of a simple one. Simple table too, so it's got names and bonuses.
We call it a file.
I called it a sheet. I should have called it a sheet. It's one file with two sheets in it.
Okay.
Two worksheets. I called it a tab initially though. Anyway, the bonus tab. What they want us to do is remove all the formatting. So that's not convert to range, it's a little bit different. It's actually removing the formatting, and to do that, actually under the table styles, place in there it says clear.
Okay.
And what clear did is just take away all the colors and everything. It's still a table, I still have the filters on it. Just makes it a black and white piece of work. Took away all the good colors we put in there.
Table, who's this, everything, this is in the table?
Under table tools, just be any place in there. You don't have to, you got a column highlighted, just be someplace in the table. And table tools,
Oh, there we go.
and then if you pull down on the different styles, way at the bottom it's got clear,
Clear. Gotcha.
and it just gets rid of all our
I guess
colors.
that's what's throwing me is that I highlight the column.
Yeah, you have the column highlighted.
Highlighted, so don't highlight the column.
No,
Just click
It's still a
inside
table
the
tools thing,
Yeah,
and that's actually all they want us to do with that one. So I'm going to close this and not save it. Close, not save. Oh, thank you. And I'm going to open up 3-3, which is an exercise on page 118 if you're looking at the book. This time we can actually have us do some filtering. So on the bonuses one, we got the filter there. And I know you didn't get to see it directly, I think, for a couple of you last week, but filters are really great. We can do a lot of different things. I mean, we can just have this list of thing and uncheck stuff, but we can also rearrange them in here. We can use number filters, is what they want us to do here. And the number filter they want us to use is they only want us to show things that are greater than 2,500, I believe. Oh, less than 2,500.
Wait, where you feel that? I'm sorry, keep. What page?
118. So I got 3 days, 3 open, and the bonuses worksheet. And I clicked on the filter button. And we can actually filter by color. I think in that one video I showed, we can filter by dates, and they had a lot of neat date ranges and stuff.
But you always have to click on at least one cell within the area that you're going to, or in
Just
this
the
case,
filter.
you don't have
The
to,
filter button,
just the filter button?
yeah. And it brought this up. I could just choose individual things I
Yeah.
wanted. But with the number of filters, we got all these different choices. We can do above average, less than, equal to. In this case, they want us to do less than 2,500. So, whoops. So less than 2,500 brings up a dialog box.
Wait.
So is it sort?
Am I doing a custom filter?
No, it's a number filter.
Oh, number, there we go.
So if you click on that filter button again, number filters will just be above the list of stuff.
I can't blink over here. It's less than 2,500.
Is that the only place? Is there another place if you wanted to, or is that would be the only place you would do that, right?
For this particular worksheet.
Type exercise.
There's only a couple of columns there.
If you had a lot of, I guess maybe I'm trying to, if you had a lot of columns that you wanted to sort by that value, let's say you had 3 or 4 of them. I think it probably doesn't, maybe I'm thinking too deep on this.
You know, it's funny because I think a number of students get kind of mixed up between sorting and filtering. I mean, if we wanted to sort this list from lowest to highest, we could do that.
But
We could actually do that in that filter button too.
Yeah.
I know in G-Metrics, if you do that, though, they'll say it's wrong because they actually want you to do the sort using the sort buttons up top.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
So less than 2,500, and I hit OK or Enter. And you probably get a short list of everybody that didn't make as much bonus. Any problems, questions?
I have no idea what you're.
Is there another way to do that?
It's the easiest way. I don't know. It's
I'm
Microsoft
I'm
filter.
just used to looking at the little filter symbol.
What happened to your
and
filter?
Yeah,
Oh, do some undos for me. See, there it is. Okay, so now the filter's there again. So
Oh,
click on the
okay,
filter,
okay.
and we're doing number filter.
So number, and then
Less
less than 25. Less than, and then to 2,500, okay, yeah. Oh, okay.
So keeping know what I did, which you don't have to do. I went all the way over. But I went over here to the sort and filter.
Didn't ask us to sort and filter.
I know,
Oh,
but,
this is.
oh, so is that saying sort and filter at the same time?
Well, it gives you the options there, but all we want to do is work in the file itself. We've already got the filter buttons on the,
Oh.
So here's where I pick the filter.
Yeah, looking for the filter. So.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. That's where between sorting.
Yeah, I'm looking at the,
Sorting
I'm
out.
looking for the filter.
Because while I was thinking you came over here,
it'll add it or it'll take it.
and I guess you can do it over here.
All right, so I was just trying to see.
Thinking, but
You know how
that's
sometimes
easier.
you
Yeah, it was
work
easier.
on
Yeah,
Yeah.
with this one, so probably specific. You're right, there are sometimes a bunch of ways to do it.
Yeah, see, that's where, between custom sorting.
Yeah, and if I was doing this, like I think what you were saying, Paul, I would have probably started out with this and right away started at like smallest to largest.
Largest, yeah.
That did more.
smallest.
Huh. Yeah.
That's not working.
That worked.
That's why I think usually they tell us to use like the sort buttons. Let's see this. Let me take that one off though. Oh, maybe didn't know what I wanted to do. Probably didn't know what I wanted to do because I had everything highlighted. If I do this now, no, it's not doing it right.
What are you trying to do?
Sorted.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not,
why are you trying to sort it?
doesn't want to sort it.
Doesn't want to sort it.
So they answer me on.
Did it ask us to sort?
No, this is just added playing around with it.
Fast. It's going up.
Yeah, it's not doing it. Huh, okay.
Shouldn't
So
you
what
sort
I
before you put your filters on anyway?
Yeah, I could sort it before we even changed it into a table.
Yeah.
Probably one of the easier ways to do it. They didn't ask us to though, so I'll leave that.
I think
Now
we
we're gonna
Oh,
go to,
yeah.
we're gonna go to products, which is the third tab on that third worksheet. Now here they're gonna have us sort. This time they're gonna have us sort. What they want us to do is sort it on two levels. First by category and then within each category by unit price. And the sort button, I like to use the sort and filter buttons on the right side, but you can also go to data, which gives you the sorts filtered ones too. The first thing we're doing is sorting by
So ascending is
A to Z.
A to Z, okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
We're sorting by category first. And then we're going to add a level. We're going to sort by unit price.
So you using the data tab?
I use the data tab, but you can do it from the home tab too, but what we're doing basically is the custom sort. And the add and the level button's right above, it just defaults to one level, but we want two. We want first by category and then by unit price. I just realized, I forgot to say, let's take a break about a half hour ago. Well, let's finish this one and we'll take a break.
Doesn't matter what order.
So you go
for
into
unit price?
data and sort it, right? That's what you're saying?
What's that ascending? The ascending would be A to Z or smallest to largest.
Or you can sort it
I'm
like
talking about
this.
unit
You go to your
price.
home page,
It doesn't say.
or home, and you ribbon and then go to sort. filter, and go to
Ascending
custom
is the
sort.
same thing as smallest to largest.
Oh, okay.
Or you can go to data to.
You talking to
sort,
me or
filter.
her?
Go to data.
So my
I did
question.
I did something to
My
this.
Yeah, yours is different. setup.
I did
See how it
something
got-
to it.
If you look at mine.
By unit price.
Well, no, you maybe, yeah. Oh, you got it underneath. Sort.
I did something wrong.
Yeah, you got something different.
Yeah, I know it's much.
I
I'm
got it.
right here, so that's what I was asking. Did
I might
it
get undo.
just leave the smallest to largest?
Yeah, which is ascending.
'Cause we're-
Yeah, it don't say here,
Well, it
so.
says ascending. And
For
all it says
the,
it
that's how
once.
I look.
Go to
It
your
only says
sort.
it once, so you can apply to both.
Yeah,
If they wanted
now you
something
can do your
different.
custom
like
sort.
I
First
say
one would be
descending for
category.
price or something.
So under sort by, go to.
Sort
category.
by,
You
okay,
drop
yeah,
down.
by this.
Drop
So you're saying if they say
Okay.
ascending, then you apply all
And
of
then
them?
add a level. You want to add a
So
level.
you gotta add a level to it, okay, yes.
And you want to add,
So it's a custom sort is what you're
it's
saying?
custom
It's
sort.
a custom sort, okay.
So then use,
Actually, you only need to be any place in this to do this.
Then it's unit price,
price, yeah,
okay.
And
then-
we're
yeah,
doing
and
is
then click
custom
OK.
sort.
that should do it.
So, pull down on this. Thing is category.
So in my category, okay,
That's
yeah,
okay.
that's right. So in my
Yeah,
category.
that's-
Add levels
And
different
the
than this
price.
one here.
Okay, so you gotta do a unit of
Yeah.
custom sort.
It's the smallest, largest, doesn't say otherwise, so we'll just assume that's also. ascending. Okay.
Just write it in the book, yeah.
And if they say alphabetically, we're talking.
probably-
A to Z.
Well, I'm in Word, I just did a Word class at Harvard, and some of it, it's the same
Is it,
keys.
Okay.
So,
So now the next thing they want us to do is actually a different sort, similar. So I'm gonna click on the custom sort again, because the first thing they want is descending by category. Well, categories that we already had.
yeah,
Descending will be just reverse, Z to A. And then within each category, alphabetically by product name. So I'm gonna just take unit price and change it to product name. And alphabetically, to me, is A to Z, doesn't say otherwise. I got category going Z to A and product name going A to Z. Oh, I didn't show what it looked like in the thing, but before I changed it, you can see we did it by category first. This is column C, so it was all the fertilizer stuff, and then on down to tools.
So you have to highlight the column in the sort.
You just need to be any place in the table.
Oh, anywhere in the table, I got you. So then the second sort would be,
By category,
yeah, and then,
descending, so tools will be at the top of your list. And you scroll down, you see pest control and soils, and eventually fertilizers at the bottom. When we did the first time, fertilizers was at the top. And product name was the second thing. So when I look at tools, so I got tools descending, then they said ascending by product name. So in here I got a 3-gallon water can, then bow rake, bow saw, clay pots and stuff. I think it's interesting when you're sorting and you've got a number in a word list, it'll put that at the start. So, you know, we don't have any A's here, but we had 3-gallon. The number 3 doesn't know what to do with it, so it puts it before ABC. Granted, that was some emails. I was trying to get rid of some. My pastor, for some reason, had number in front of his title. So put it the first part of the list, even in an email. It's like, oh, okay. So let's see. He wants to remove duplicates. And duplicates, to me, most of the time, I don't think we'd be using. But what they want us to do is remove the duplicates, so we're only showing one supplier. So what we're going to do, duplicates, let's see, where am I? Well, I'm on data. There's a couple places you can do duplicates. Since we're working with table tools, so it's probably best to stay on that. And over on the left of where we had the slicer stuff is the remove duplicates. I think it's also under formulas. There's a section for formula auditing. Oh, not auditing.
I found it under data.
Data, yeah, data's the other place. I'm sorry.
we'll just click,
Remove duplicates, and it's going to give you a list of the different columns and what we can do. They only want us to remove the duplicates. I'm going to deselect everything because they just want it by supplier. I'm going to click on supplier then. In my case, it removed 102 values and left me with 7 unique values.
yeah.
So I got, for this, I think this would be handy. If you just want to know a short list of your suppliers. Boom, there's a short list of suppliers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not one I use much. But,
I've used duplicates to remove duplicate
Yeah.
stuff, yeah, but I just never in this fashion.
yeah. And as you saw, we could do different columns too. I mean, we just removed one thing to get the supplier, but we could have multiple, similar to what you can do with filtering. You can have multiple filters, you can have multiple removes, although it might get a little wacky during that. This one's pretty simple, so that's good. And that's all they want us to do on this one. So now we can close this, don't save it, and we'll take a break. How's that sound?
Good.
Yes. No, I don't want a break. Let's keep going. Not. Hey, you said we're gonna have a break. Come
Now,
on.
the only thing is, if y'all start, which I don't mind starting later, I have to do work for 2, so I have to leave here early. Yeah, once I start, probably the last 2 Fridays of class. So I start working. They saying sometime in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start working. And I have to do work for 2 o'clock. I'm working the evening shift.
Nearby? Oh,
There's plans.
this place.
It's not that far.
It's not that far.
It's not
You have to leave early either way, right?
Yeah,
Really? 9:30 to 1:30?
Yeah, we're going to 1:30. You probably have to scoot out here.
yeah, I have to be early anyway.
So 9:30 doesn't
Especially
bother me, or
the
10, I
first
mean, 9:30 is better,
Yeah.
just get that sooner, but, either way.
But I'm just gonna get up earlier, that's all. She's gonna have to get up on her own, and get up a little earlier. So,
Okay.
Keep it 9:30, so she's not missing
Keep it
so
9:30.
much. I leave with her.
yeah, I'll just get up, I'll just leave early next Friday.
Do you
Next
want
Friday, I
us to
should
keep it at
be,
9:30, or do you want us to start at?
keep it at 9:30, I'll just get up earlier next week, that's.
Dang, I like 10 o'clock out.
Drop your girl off.
Yeah,
All right,
you know,
okay.
she's just gonna have to.
Starting at 9 would be good.
Well, this.
8 o'clock. Start at 8, that's a regular business day for me, 7, well, a regular business day, 7 o'clock.
Thank you so much for everything for that class, because exactly what you said on the
About
PMP,
6:30.
for me to
That's my
say,
normal business day.
exactly what you said.
6:30?
was
6:30,
exactly
so work 6:30 to 6:30.
Wow.
I got certified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got certified. That was a year ago.
That was at Sally House.
Oh, there you go.
I was a manager.
So
I didn't get
I
to
went,
shift.
I went right on in the
You had
city
to
and
cover all
took it.
3 shifts, so you had to be there.
That,
So how
last
about we
January.
start at 6:30
Yeah.
and go to
Review
No,
what?
12?
Certified
Since last year.
associate project manager for a year.
And a couple of people have, contacted me, I've been on interviews, but most of the time I'm hearing, I don't have the experience.
Yeah.
I don't have the experience. So Abby would be good because she was saying I could grow with that division.
Yeah, and if they do more projects and things.
Yes.
you get that
And that's what he wanted, that's why he really,
The killer was the days I had to
I got
do
this
training.
job basically because of
That
that.
started at 6.
I'll just have
Train
to.
because I had to train everyone in.
Suck it up for right now.
That's what I was working right. So,
So,
we do
but
that.
everybody wanted to
Start
say
at
that, because everything.
No. Yeah.
That
6.
said,
Start at 6.
those handouts, the way I studied with the cards,
5.
I did everything you said.
No,
Passed
it's
it, passed it.
That's 9:30.
That's great.
How do you keep up with anybody?
For me right now, you don't want to
How's
work.
Matt and Cindy?
Some, Matt actually got a job,
Oh,
and actually he
good.
was our techie for a while, he was helping us
Okay.
upgrade the
Oh,
computers and get things
good.
started. He really liked the job, and they let him go after about 3 or 4 months.
Oh.
I haven't heard recently from him, so I'm not sure how he's doing. We need a tech person again, so,
Yeah.
when he was working full-time, he actually still
We'll
helped
come
out.
over.
He did some things like at night or on Saturday,
Yeah.
or remotely.
Yeah.
And Cynthia was in that study group, but I haven't heard
How
much
she's
from her
doing,
recently.
yeah.
So you did the CAPM,
I did CAPM
and you
in his
said,
class last year. It's been a year since I've been
She's
certified.
been a certified
A year.
associate project manager.
and so you said that, did that help you get more?
What he
interviews?
did was, which was very good, he, gave us cards. So a lot of it, you have to memorize the process of, I think because it's been a year, girl, I can't remember what it was. The inputs and the outputs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of it with CAPM was just really memorizing that. It wasn't as intense as, PMP was. At least when I took it. It was more of knowing the inputs and the outputs. And what they did, the CAPM, they did give us situations and you had to say what you would do. But basically what he would do, he would put the, I forget, because we had acronyms that we remembered it by. And he gave us little cards and I set that to memory. I set it to memory every day. I would do those cards every single day.
What cards? What do you get on cards, Keith?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
The card stock they had to chop up, like the
Oh, I thought
magnet,
you were talking about cards of the.
The little cards, no, the,
like the magnet, like the
like I
magnets.
said, I can't even remember, it's been a year, I can't even remember what it was, but
So they'll.
it's doable, you can pass it, it's, it's not as intense as PMP, but I mean, it was still pretty, They asked a lot of-
It's only 50 questions.
they asked a lot of
50
questions.
questions less, 1 hour less.
1 hour left.
Yeah.
Less.
But it still was pretty, it's pretty. Yeah, it was pretty, it was pretty. No formula that I can remember, it was more memorizing the what was the, scope and time and cost and all those different, it was more memorizing that. Like he would show us on the board, to me, that's more what it was, but when I went in the room, they were very intense in the city. I mean, they took your cell phone, we had to lock up
Oh, you
everything.
got locked up there?
We had to go through a scanner.
Yeah.
They were doing like this, checking people's.
They made me pull up my pants.
Yes, that's what they did me
What's
too.
this for?
They're very.
CMP certification.
Yeah.
What's PMT certification?
Project management professional. Well, for a lot of certifications, Prometrics, that's like.
Right,
This was yours.
I'm actually gonna use that for the first time. But I used to, if I took any type of test.
No, I went, he'll give you the information, you can do it online, and then put you at the site close to it.
Check your stuff when you came in.
Yeah,
I
so
have, but
Prometrics
it's mostly, I don't have the
lockers
experience, I don't have a
all
lot
your
of
stuff.
experience in
Really?
it,
So
so.
for the PMP, probably for the SQ, imagine something similar.
Yeah.
Paper and pencil.
Well, with
And
Abbott,
you can use scratch
my
paper.
supervisor was saying, they're gonna need
Nothing
people
else.
to manage
It's
the
an open
projects
book
when
trust.
they,
It's
always that
with this new
Yeah.
division that's opening up. So that's why they kind of hired me, because they know they're gonna need those type of people to manage projects. So I need to go in there and prove myself.
Associates.
I get hired in there and I can become the project manager with pharmaceuticals, because I worked with pharmaceuticals
PMPs,
for
4
years
hours a
and
year.
years, I got experience. So I just wanna kind of get back in there.
Pretty intense.
I took this job, I had to take the job, so
Get in there.
that's what I did. So, but thank you, because everything you said is exactly what happened on that exam, so.
People went for the PMP, and I said, oh, I really needed more of this and that, but it's good to hear, at least for the CAPM, that worked well.
I don't even think I'm gonna even worry, because, with Abbott, like my supervisor was saying, he said, as long as you come in here and you prove yourself, we're gonna grow, and we're gonna need project managers to manage the projects, because it's gonna, they're experimenting with new products is what's happening, and they're gonna need those type of people as they grow and expand. So he was saying, I'm basically kind of starting on the bottom and I'm work up, I'm just gonna grow with them.
You're at the entry level when it's about to grow, so.
Yeah, that's so
Oh,
I,
that's good, that's good.
when they offered me the job, I took it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So meanwhile, I've been keeping in touch with, the PMI people, and I'll just, I don't know, maybe, I mean, not PMI, the green belt, I'm really thinking about taking the, I may eventually take do the black belt. I may go take, I may do it. So I got the green belt too.
You're a quality person. And a quality person and a quality.
Yeah. But it's doable, you can pass the exam, you just gotta put the effort in and study, you can pass the exam. It's a tough exam, but I think 2 of them I was just proficient.
Oh.
For CAPM, it was still kind of tough.
Yeah, it's funny, they used to give, and I actually just printed it up at home for myself. A 2004 PMP, they gave you like a 3-page summary that showed how you did by each of the 5 process
That's what they
groups,
did.
but then also had subsections. Now they don't do that. Now they give you 5 letter things of being proficient,
Yeah.
moderately, less than proficient, or moderately proficient, something like that.
Oh, that's it.
But the bottom line is, we're not as much worried about if you're up or down in those.
Yeah.
Pass is what we want to say. Pass.
So now, do you have to, once you've passed that certification, you have to do continuing education after that?
We call them PDUs, or professional development units. And for the PMP, every 3 years, you need to do 60, which is really not that hard, because you can get,
You go to meetings?
you go to meetings, watch a webinar, 1-hour webinar is usually worth 1 credit, and your work experience. If you're doing projects and stuff, you can get partial credit for that. You get credit for teaching. See, I'm not working right now,
Yeah.
but I'm keeping it up by
You're
teaching.
teaching class.
And you can do other things too. I mean, if you want to volunteer for a PMI conference or something, they'll give you some credits.
Oh.
Much different ways to do it.
Yeah, I don't remember what the CQA, I know there's continuing education credits. I haven't really looked at them as to how many you need a year.
Yeah.
Once you pass the test.
And it varies for different things like the Agile one doesn't require quite as much, it requires 30 credits. A little bit different. But what I did for both of them to recertify last year was watch a lot of webinars. And there's conferences too. They have like, PMI just had a great big conference in September in Chicago. Normally it's in, London or Dubai or something. It's a worldwide conference. Oh, that's great. I don't really have time to go there right now. But for that, if I'd gone there, you can almost knock out all your requirements.
You always sit through, what do you end up having to do,
Sit through lectures and.
yeah, how do you get you have to have someone sign off then that you write the lectures or?
Well, the webinar ones, like, there's a PMI related site. The webinar ones, you watch it, you register for log in, they automatically give you credit at the end of the webinar. There's forms and stuff you can fill out. Like, the one thing I didn't do is actually, I read an awful lot of stuff. And I probably could turn that information into, but I could probably turn that into for some credits. I mean, everything from a white paper to a 10-page thing about risk or cost or something. I don't just read those. I don't do anything with it. I could probably use those too. So a lot of things are like those webinars and stuff are already pre-registered or certified. So by just registering, watching it, you get credit for it. You could watch other things too, like ITIL and some other things. That I want you some of these things.
Are these free webinars? You got to pay for them.
Free. There is stuff out there to pay for.
But if you don't have,
The conference they had in Chicago was like a couple $1,000 to actually attend the whole conference.
Yeah.
So that was another reason I wasn't real interested in it at the time. But I was also teaching.
What we doing now? We can go to the little, Paul, did you figure out where the vending machines were?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. Didn't realize that in the building,
Catherine texted that she's still finding food.
Wow.
Did you see it? What's wrong today?
Yeah, we were down in Atlanta
I'm
for
sure
Christmas,
these are
and
like-
it kind of started, one person got it, and the next person got it, and the next person got it. Into Christmas Day, we drove down Friday before Christmas. Everybody was fine. That Saturday, everybody was fine. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, one person got it. And Christmas Day, another person got it.
Oh.
We postponed coming back a day because of people being, and actually, the good and bad worked out all right driving back up. I ended up hitting the snowstorm just north of Indianapolis, but then I was able to get around the snowstorm, so I didn't get as bad hit on 65. If you're familiar with that section through Indiana, if you're going south, because I was going to cut up through 57 through Illinois, and the storm had started on that side, so I'd gotten the tail end of it on 65. So, but the fact that flu, everybody just one after another, and those of us with the flu shot did okay. That was the other thing. Some people didn't get flu shots because they didn't want them.
I'm scared of that flu shot. Because some people say it made them sick, but they inject you with the flu virus, right? So your body can build antibodies.
I can't remember which one I got. There were two shots. I think one's a living virus and one's a dead virus.
Oh.
Is that, I think, is what it is. You'd have to ask your doctor or nurse practitioner or something,
How long you doing? I just
Type of
take you
thing.
some garlic. You probably see that.
She's big on garlic.
Garlic is a big, what they say is a big thing.
Antiviral, I'm telling you.
The Zeke, was it Zecam? Is that the other?
Oh, Zicam? Zicam?
Zicam. Yeah, that's another one. That's a big,
Oh, yeah.
you start with.
You try some garlic. People don't want to talk to y'all. When people talk to people, they do it like this.
Don't you just take, you take the raw garlic or the
Yes.
garlic pills?
raw garlic.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
versus garlic pills?
Yeah, I'll do both, but I forget to take the pills.
Oh, is that what it?
So my brother started
my
doing that.
nails.
Huh?
I've been growing my nails out. My nails are very, very short. I'm growing them. I soak them in orange juice and garlic
Really?
for 15 minutes, and then I soak them with olive oil for 15 minutes every night.
Please,
My
Sarah,
nails
you
been
too.
growing and stronger. Stronger. But it works. My nails been getting stronger and they growing. I have like nubs. They were shorter than this. I'm gonna work with it.
I used to take
Couple
that
more months, they gonna
gelatin,
grow longer and
that
longer.
Knox gelatin. Has something in there.
Yeah, that's usually, it's been around a long time.
Yeah, that's what my auntie used.
Yeah.
Her nails.
So you said orange juice and garlic.
Orange juice,
Don't
just
mess around.
any garlic.
No, I-
Garlic
I never heard
of that.
garlic powder, garlic salt,
Oh, I was gonna say,
chopped
is it
garlic,
cooked
raw,
garlic?
whatever,
or is it
any kind
just-
of garlic, any kind of
Just
garlic.
garlic juice or?
It could be garlic juice, it could be chopped up garlic.
Do you ever make your own salad dressing? Do you?
Yeah.
But you like garlic?
Very little, and not as much as, I used to like a lot, and now I don't like it as much.
So it's like-
Like if I go to like a what they call like a Juran, or, those type where they do the wok cooking, I'll have them make garlic rice for me when they.
Oh,
Should be good.
It's a garlic rice, I guess it, yeah, or whatever it is, they're slopping together.
So they just put a clove with garlic in your salad dressing.
Yeah. They haven't, not as much as I used to. Used to like it a lot more. It's kind of like onions. I don't like onions as much. I know you just don't like me as much anymore. So it's like.
Anybody want some information?
So what are you guys taking? This is your first class?
No, I was in class with her. We finished the B&B class.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you take that test already?
No, not yet. I'm still studying. Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense. Really is intense.
Yeah, you still need self-study after, you need 35 hours to take the test, so we did 40, but you still need some
Do
self-study
you?
after. That. You're kind of blazing through it, to get through it, but, so I'm hoping the end of January, maybe beginning of February.
Good. Girl, it took me 4 or 5 months for that. We stopped study group when I wanted to take it. I was so intimidated by that exam. It took me, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna pass.
I want to just, because I have a few certifications, so I want to be able to focus on, you know, each one.
Good.
Then I'm taking, well, it started last week, I did it remotely, big data.
That one I haven't seen.
Yeah, big data analytics, I like it so far, I mean, it's
Is
a
that like a
lot.
programming?
Yeah, kind of how companies, how they store or move, their information, that kind of thing.
Is it like a machine language? It's
Like
not
the
machine
cloud, no.
No, it's not machine
No.
language. So it's more of a software,
Yeah.
working with a software.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
okay.
got you.
So I'm taking that now. So that's a lot. Luckily, that's not a certification, it's just a class. I think it's helpful though. Then I have a few more classes to take, so I'm kind of just getting acclimated again. Being in school.
You'll be all right.
You know, taking classes.
You'll be all
and,
right. It's very intimidating when you walk in, you know. You're like, what? I know for the green belt, even have stuff on, we're like, what? See?
You already take the green belt?
I took it, yeah.
You already passed that test? Or take the test?
Yeah, I took it. I got certified in 2016. I took it the first time. Yeah, because the green belt, you only can take it twice a year. And I did a class in 2015. And in December I went and took it and I didn't pass it.
Uh-huh.
So I said, well, I'm gonna study for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it. And then the second time I passed it. Yeah, keep us the PMP guy. Yeah.
One of the PMP
He's
guys.
the PMP man,
I
yes.
had three or four instructors there one time that taught it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Tushar Patel, me, Amin Ali teaches. Amin's still around. He's still teaching. I think he's probably teaching a Saturday class. It's going to start here maybe Saturday.
and that'll be all day.
Not sure if it could be.
Oh, okay.
Saturday classes sometimes are, sometimes are half day.
Yeah.
If the BMI people, they gonna make sure that they got you all kinds of, I tell you, yeah, it's tough. Yeah. And the test site, see what they'll do, when you register for your exam, they send you at a test site closest to you. So not everybody at that site's taking the PMP exam, everybody's taking different exams.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they just like, they just set you up over there. When you walk in, no cell phones, you had to lock up everything, you had to go through scanners, you had to. Yeah. Yeah, pat down like going to jail. Yeah, it was everything, yeah. So it's, you know, and you just do it on the screen and you just press your answers that way. And they tell you right then and there if you pass it.
Well, that's good.
They tell you right then and there if you pass it. Yeah, I think we stopped study group when I took it like August, September. I was so scared. I said, well, I waited till January. I said, girl, I'm not going.
So how long did y'all do the study group?
We did our group. We did our group for maybe,
Uh-oh,
I think our class ended in May.
they take out all the sodas.
I think we went to maybe September.
This was like $1.
Yeah, that's what we did.
No,
And we would
no,
If the chief would come over here, we would do the questions in the, that little
County
brown
price
book.
increase.
Okay.
Rita, was it Rita and the other book? Yeah, and we would do the little questions and we would have knockout discussions about
Okay.
the answers and all that.
For your group study?
The study group we did.
She took it until like 3 months after, like, you said about
3 or 4 months. Yeah, I know it was a few months. But I was so scared of it. I was just like, well, I'm not. When the holidays came, I waited till after the holidays to go take it, yeah. Cause I was prepared, but you know, you wanna go in there and
No, which test was
give it
it?
your shot. CAPM. We did the PLP class.
Okay.
That's what it was.
I feel like if I wait too long, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a first shot in February, and then that may give me a gauge of where I need to, if I don't pass, where I need to study before May. Well, within the next 30 days, because whatever I take it, I'm gonna take it before
Yeah, see, they're
I think you have 3 times
within a year.
within a year, I think. So let's take that again.
Let's go. Geometrics. Now, did you get the geometrics at all? Did you get into geometrics on your own?
No,
No?
no. I just watched your class, the classes on YouTube. That's what I did.
All right. Well, geometrics is an icon on your desktop.
And then we set up our own sign-in, right?
Yes, you set up your own sign-in. And you're gonna have to register.
I have the other.
Okay. So down here where it says sign up, you have to fill that out one time. And I'll have an access code for you, which you may need to enter one time too. By the way, I added a sheet to your handouts. I gave one to Paul, but I put it in your books too. It just lists off all the tests that are in geometrics. And the ones that they set up were the ones called core test 1, 2, 3, which is just a variety of random questions. They also have the, they call it multi-project 1, 2, 3. Those are the ones that are very similar to what the exam looks like. And those, I like the way they said it. It used to be they had one file and you did 35 different things to it. Well, if you messed up something early, it could kill you. But now it's 7 different files with about 5 questions on each. So if you had trouble with one file and didn't do exactly what they asked, it wouldn't necessarily disqualify you from passing. Passing's only 70%, so it's not a real high level. You do have to have some good knowledge, and I think next week's class probably is one of the key ones. If you understand formulas and functions, is probably one of the key things. And where to go on different buttons, where on different areas.
Look at that, I like you did this. Thank
Okay.
you. This is really nice. Short sheet.
And so in addition to those, there's the 5 that I've created, which are chapter specific. Same questions that are in the others are the random ones, so sometimes you see things repeat a few times.
So because I know I missed some classes.
Yep.
GCF,
GCF
these are just videos on what you've been discussing, right?
Mhm.
And these are just practice tests.
Yeah.
To help us for the
Geometrics,
exam.
this is the tool that we use to practice, to get ready for the passing the exam. For so that, some students do it to just practice, others do it to really learn or update some skills. I need to register some.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm so sorry.
No problem. I gotta ask you, email is usually your username, but you can use whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
Your username and password are unique to remember, and keep them simple, because you're gonna use that to log in every time.
Yeah.
One of my friends, Carlos, or one of my students, we became friends too, and Gurney put this thing in that must have been 20 characters, and he kept forgetting what it was, and he'd written inside his book and everything, started class. It took him quite a, I said, keep it simple. I said that I had a lady here one time, said, okay, I'll keep it simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fine. I mean, this isn't high security stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's gonna steal your test stuff on these things.
I would say create, right?
Yep. And then you're gonna log in or sign in. Here, sign in. One time you have to put in an access code, so
Okay.
here, let you type in line 3 here. And that's GMX MOS capitalized.
So go to access code. Okay.
Yeah, so that,
Activate this code.
so it'll be 47947. And then dash. And GMX MOS 2. It's
Yeah,
capitalized.
GMX.
MOS. Number 2, another dash.
Yeah, 06.
Double check it's right. If it's not right, it'll probably tell us.
And if it's the same thing, just be either capital or lowercase, but both ways.
Okay, and just click on this arrow there. And it actually took you right into the test. But normally what you'd see when you log in, it would look like this.
Okay,
When you're actually logged in, a new test goes from gray to blue.
okay.
But we are going to do new tests, and we're going to do it in Excel.
So Keith.
Yeah.
It's not taking my username again, like, for whatever reason, and I wrote it down. Caps, no space. And I try to.
That's your password or your
My username,
right name password?
but it
Oh,
asks to
it's asking
enter a
for-
username.
Okay.
Right? To recover my password, because it didn't take it, which I kept it at geometric lowercase, but it don't take it. It's showing it.
Okay.
So then I put space. And say user not found. And we're gonna try lowercase, but I know I put it all uppercase.
So Keith.
Yeah.
You have to go into Team Viewer to get access to
To
this,
log in
right?
remotely to these machines, yeah.
Okay,
Use keyboard to
okay.
log in.
to get to this.
Mhm.
Okay,
And this is a list of the different machines that have the stuff on it.
okay.
And you can use
I gotta reinstall it on the computer.
Oh.
Yeah, better.
You can use TeamViewer to log into geometrics, but also into those practice tests too. The
Okay.
ones from the book that we did at the start.
Oh, okay.
So these guys,
Okay, yeah, they're in.
those are under the
Okay,
desktop files and folders.
okay.
So using TeamViewer, you can look at both of those. Now, if you have 2016 at home, you can actually load those practices on your home computer. If you don't, then you just log into these guys.
Okay.
In the back of the book, it actually has a link there for, actually, I think in the schedule, I had the link at the top too for loading those guys. Cynthia needs me to look up.
Oh, they let me know. Oh, let me enter resume, save tests. Go on.
So this is okay, it's
Okay.
training that we're on, right?
Yeah, we're gonna stay in training. If you scroll down that list, you'll find one, Excel 2016, create tables.
Also, it's doing.
Create labels, number 3, Excel 2016.
Yeah, there's different tests in here. And
Tables, yeah, could I say
create
labels?
tables, number 3. There's more down there.
Yeah.
This is the, just start view, then you click on this guy,
Download.
until you actually get the test. And typical view is this, oh, not the typical view is a split screen. The top will have the Excel file, and the bottom will have the instructions.
Yeah. The YouTube thing, you play it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, what's in there?
That's what it is.
Mine's coming up a little bit slow, but I found a couple other things too. When you're in this view, there's some buttons over here.
Mhm.
This light bulb is your little help button.
Okay,
So I don't get what they are asking for. You click on that and it'll walk you through the instructions.
okay.
There's a save button here. If we're between one question and the next, you can also save it at that point too. So if we get to the end of the day and we're not done, you can just save it.
You can save it, okay.
I just looked
And you can go into these as many times as you want. I was mentioning Paul earlier, I had one student that would do each test 3 times. First time, light bulb, light bulb, light bulb.
Yeah.
Second time, mostly just doing the questions, light bulb once in a while. Third time, no light bulb, just boom, boom, boom. And part of it's repetition, just learning that one test, but part of it too is, oh, that's where that
Right.
format as table button is, or the different buttons. Just getting more familiar with it.
So with the exam, this verification exam, the questions will be like this, very similar, or?
Very similar. It's a little bit different setup than this one, and actually those, what were they called, the exam ones? They call them, they have a different name for it. The ones that were at the top of the list of different tests, multi-project training, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Those are actually very similar setup to the way the actual cert test is.
Oh,
So we're playing table style to this. I'm gonna highlight basically from row 3 down. It's kind of long. I'll include, they got a total row in here, so I'm gonna include that. Something from row 3 to D34. Table style light, gonna be my 4th one, I bet. Yeah, table style light, happens to be light green. Oh, I'm on the right worksheet, by the way, yeah. They get us once in a while. It said June worksheet. We're on June, so that's okay. Sometimes we're on a different worksheet. And if we got it right,
Remember that the big thing I keep
Yeah.
forgetting is,
find the styles.
format is.
Oh, format as table, okay. Okay, yeah.
Light table style for the exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always want to check that off.
And we always want the headers in there. If it looks okay, then you can click next. Oh, somebody moved this to the top. You can't
I
just-
did.
Okay.
I
yeah,
like
top
it
right.
up top.
Okay. And it says green check, yep, got it right, or red X, not right, you can try again.
Okay.
Well, that's enough for me talking. So Paul, you want to do number 2?
All right, so the annual sales worksheet. Sort the data in cell range A5 to F15 by the total column and order the values by largest to smallest. Huh. Okay.
So this, by the way, is where I would typically stay on the home tab and use the buttons over here for sort and filter. It actually has the sort buttons in there along with the filter button. I mean, you can go to the data tab and do it there, and the data tab shows up right in the middle section, so that's good too. But a lot of times, they build on the home tab a lot of things you can use.
You would have to highlight the whole thing.
Yeah, I gotta highlight A5 to F15.
Then it wants largest to smallest. So
Sort by what? By total?
it says by the total column in order the values by largest to smallest.
Mhm.
You would go to custom sort.
Yep.
And then to the total. And then largest to smallest. Okay. Click OK, and that should be it.
And it was our friend Emil Emelson at the top of the list with his 33,000.
Yeah.
Oscar Miller, by the way, this is just an extra note. They made jokes here. Oscar Miller didn't do very well, only 19,000. There's a comment there saying trouble.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah, I saw that little flag. I saw that little flag. Yeah.
I think it says he's in trouble. I mean, the next lowest is 27, almost 28,000. Oscar, what were you doing? Don, you want to do number 3? By the way, as far as question numbers go, way at the bottom here, it's got 3 of 20. It'll actually show you how many, what question we're on of the bunch. Also has ID numbers. I've turned in a couple ID numbers when they had wacky questions that didn't work.
Okay, filter the data so that only the people with a position of developer are displayed. All right, I will go into data.
Actually, the first thing we need to do is on row 3. Those are the titles. We're going to be highlighting those
Highlight, yeah.
and adding filters to them.
Filter data so that. So you highlight column C, right?
Actually, I just used the filter on column C.
Oh, the filter, okay.
And once you get the filters on, then you just
So you gotta
select
set
filter.
up, you gotta set the filter, set up the little.
The little triangles on all
Yeah, how
those.
do you, how do I put the little,
That filter was last year's. You can either use this guy here.
you just do,
Well, I highlighted them. I tend
yeah, how do you do,
to
oh, just, so you have to, you gotta do,
all the titles.
so you get to, just do, like
Yeah.
that and just hit filter? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it has filters.
Okay, okay. So then you would just, deselect except developer, right?
Right. So on this row, just add filters. You can use the filter button way over there.
Well, this is what I did. Well, I did that tax filter. Just to select.
Deselect and just choose developer.
There it is. See, you know what? I have the same chart.
Okay.
The one I went
You have to highlight the
Yeah.
header first. Huh?
I think one do. Sometimes it wants to do it one specific way, and that's probably that one was.
Okay. I did that whole contains developer.
So you got to highlight the header first across the titles.
Yeah, highlight the header, get the filter buttons, either using this guy or under
Or the
data,
filter. Yeah.
and then deselect everything and just select developer.
Oh, I actually did it the other way, probably the harder way. I went into the filter How did I do that?
Well, Cynthia was just doing it a different way too, and it didn't like it. She went into,
Yeah.
Text filters.
Yeah,
let me add everything back in.
no, I did it that way. We'll go to text filter.
Text filter,
Yep, and then I went to contains,
contains,
Yeah. developer, and it
probably
didn't
to say equals, and it would be the exact word developer.
Oh, so you gotta go,
But I got the same list.
Probably the same list, but not the way they, and I bet if we pull up the light bulb, it would tell us it wanted to do it the other way. So data sort and filter, click filter and C3, do the pull down for position, unselect everything and just select developer.
Oh, crap.
So sometimes it lets you do it one of the 4 ways, other times it says, no, you gotta do it just this way. Make sure you capitalize this word or whatever it might be.
so yeah, you're right, that's how it worked. It did that. Yep. I mean, the other system would have been fine to use.
Yeah, that's why I say a lot of these things work, but
Yeah.
the test tool may be just limiting you to do it this way. Tiffany, you want to do number 4?
Yes, it says format cells A3 through G34 as a table using table style like 2. So highlight A3 to G34, click on format as table, and then the second one in the first row is table style like 2. And
They seem to like this light green stuff. Everyone getting there? Everyone there?
Yeah.
Cynthia, do number 5.
Source data worksheet, so make sure I'm on the right worksheet
Yeah.
tab.
Yeah.
It says sort the data alphabetically by customer ID, and then by product. So,
By the way, one little hint, it's not a table, but as long as it's consecutive rows that are already set up, you can just click any place in there and you can pull up the sort that would actually allow you to do it.
Okay.
I don't
so I don't have
really,
to highlight the whole,
you don't have
all my
to,
data.
no, as long as it's consecutive rows and columns. If we had spaces in there, that wouldn't work, but if it's all one big long thing, and I think this one is, all we need to do is be someplace in there that we can do the sorts.
Okay. So I have my data highlighted, and I go to the data tab. I don't know what you call it, up there on the ribbon. And I go to sort, there's my drop down, and it's asking me to sort the data alphabetically by the customer ID. So I have the little box, and I'm gonna do drop down, and I'm gonna select, it shows product, so I'm gonna select customer ID, A to Z, which would be alphabetically, and then I'm gonna add a level to sort by product. Select product in the same order, you said. And see what happens.
Little hard sometimes to see what it did, but so like my customer ID, you can see it did it alphabetically, and I got Anton here, and there's only one thing, you can't see product ordering, but Anton's alphabetical, and over here goes Alice to Sasquatch, so had to see by group, it did the double deal.
And then I hit next. And I got a green check.
So you have to add wait. You have to add a level to that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're doing two sorts on it,
okay.
sort by ID and then by.
So by the ID, alphabetically, A to Z, okay, and then add a level.
And add a level.
And then add by product.
I'll do number 6. I'm gonna highlight, well, let me read it first. Filter the data so that only rows with a value above average are displayed in the fiction column. Still gonna highlight the whole thing because I wanted to do it to the full deal. Actually, I probably could just do that here. No.
Are you highlighting the fiction column? Or are you filtering?
Actually,
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna,
'cause
I'm
it
gonna
says
highlight
filter.
row 3, all the titles, and then click on the filter button, add that.
And fiction column.
Now, once I got the filters on, then I'm gonna go to the fiction column. And it's gonna be a number filter. I want to know above average.
Oh, you done.
Just already calculating the average and just automatically,
Excel is smart enough to know that if taking this range of numbers, it'll tell you what's above average. Or less than, or whatever one of those you want to use.
I got some type of.
Might be a little hard to see, but in my case, it's still a long list, but I can see it goes 3, 5, 8, 11, so it's jumping, skipping the ones that were filtered out. So it looks like you have to be above like 3,500 or something to be above
Yeah.
average. Any problems? Good. Well, I'm gonna do the next one.
in the marketing plan worksheet, sort the data in the cell range A78 to D85 by column B, largest to smallest. So the first thing you gotta do is go to the marketing budget plan. And I would highlight A78 to D85. Then I would just do the sort largest to smallest, I guess.
Fine.
Custom sort, go to custom sort.
Mhm.
And we want to pull up column B. And it says largest to smallest, so we'll do largest to smallest. And click OK.
It's a good example about, when you don't have a header row on there.
Wait,
If we had a header row, then we'd have
Go
the
to
titles, but
marketing.
we don't have a header row, so it just did it by column, go to column G out.
I'm looking at the actual things, basically. Obviously, it's not blank, it's blank, so I must be wrong.
The wording is awkward.
Are you on the,
A
are
78.
you on the marketing budget plan worksheet?
Yeah, A 78.
This is the marketing plan budget worksheet.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah.
They get us once in
Sorry.
a while.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I didn't click it.
Sometimes it defaults to being on the right worksheet.
Sometimes it
Okay.
doesn't, but it's just
All
a,
right, I'm sure. Supposed to be that over here.
There's some logic problems with this whole thing, though, because it's
Yeah.
funny, it goes 15,000 down to 2. But there's some expense differences. The mailings supposedly, I guess it makes sense, because the mailings and stuff don't cost much. A billboard or a television ad costs more. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense. My computer is working slow. Depends when
But why I didn't-
you're gonna be yours, but
It's
see.
just showing it, but it's not. Oh, it's just real slow. Okay. In the marketing budget plan worksheet, select the cells A2 to D95 and filter the category by the color black. All right, so let me make sure budget, gotta go to marketing budget plan. All right, then A2, highlight the range A2 to D95. And then
This is an interesting one to me. 'Cause
Yeah,
now we normally filter.
you know, it's kind of interesting, because you got two options.
Yeah. But it wants basically, I know from experience, it wants the cell color.
Yeah,
That's kind of funny. Now, normally we sort by number or by a
Yeah.
text filter.
but it's giving you either font color or cell color.
They could be sort by cell color, it'll work. Which is kind of funny because it,
Wait a minute,
So it's by cell color?
Sound a little clearer.
yeah, it does a funny thing. I'm showing you most, everything
Yeah.
black.
probably a better way to do this.
I'm gonna need to put the filters on first on row 2. Yeah, logically, this one doesn't make sense to me. 'Cause it doesn't show us anything in there. It shows a couple numbers here. It's like, all right. Kind of weird. But I think they just want to show us you can not only sort by numbers and text, but also by colors.
Filter category, filter.
Or sorting by
Basically,
colors.
we want all the categories together. In a second.
Can I just hit the, I know this is probably from earlier, can I just hit the A2 D95? That range somewhere,
You can.
instead of just, I'm used to just dragging down and doing it.
You can click on A2 and then using the shift key, click on D95.
Oh, yeah.
It'll cover the range.
That'll cover the range.
Yeah, that's can throw you though. I mean, it's like, where you sort, I should try sorting it by, font color just to see, or
By what?
by
By font color? Yeah, well, I've done this a few times, so I know that font color doesn't work.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives you, it's the fact that it's,
What? Right.
Back that down, I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Like what? Didn't make it something.
Okay, it's something color. Yeah.
Oh.
It actually wouldn't let me do it by just putting that down there.
Yeah.
I really wanted to range because it doesn't really want this 97
No.
in there. Yeah, we used to have some funny things show up with this. It didn't, oh, I'm still getting it right. I got it right the first time.
So right here.
Oh, well, I'm not worried about it right now.
but it's just, it's kind of weird that it would, the way it's set up, that you would think which one, either one would have been correct in a sense.
Yeah, because it wasn't that specific.
If a cell, yeah.
Were they talking about cell color or font color?
Yep.
Tiffany, you want to do number 9?
Yes, in the expenses worksheet, sort the data in cell B4 to D45 by the actual column, largest to smallest. So we're gonna make sure we're on the expenses worksheet tab. Highlight B40 to D45. And for me, from the data tab, I would click on sort. And then drop down sort by actual. And then order largest to smallest.
So we have 1,300 down to $320. Other was our most expensive category. Interesting.
it's gonna eventually come up. Cynthia, you wanna do applying the filter for a business purpose?
Mhm. What do you want me to do? Apply for just they're gonna do that only shows miles driven for a business purpose? Okay. Oh, goodness. First, let me see if I get it right. Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, we got it. Okay, so what I did was I highlighted the row 5 with the row headers, I guess you want to call it, the column headers. Then I went to data tab and hit filter to apply a filter to all those. And then I went into the purpose, column D, use the drop down filter that was applied. Check select all, which removes all the filter, and then just recheck business. And hit OK. Now, it's probably another way to do it, but.
Okay, why when I hit select all, it's not,
You gotta click it. When you hit select all, what happened?
it's just saying there, when I check business,
Should just be, that menu should be, yeah.
but why is it not the select all? Why is it not?
Is it all selected right now? Everything selected right now?
No, when I select, I just wanna get business, check business, it's not letting me do it, it has select all in black too, so I don't know why. Yeah, see, it has select all in black when I did business. Do it again. I don't know why it just didn't let me do.
You cancel, try again.
I meant to say that too much ago.
Let's click OK.
I don't know why they keep it as select all.
It didn't actually, it wasn't actually, it was black.
Yeah, it was just black.
It wasn't checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, it did look weird. And mine hasn't come up yet. It's not to call about our performance.
Right,
Our tech guy's
Yeah, mine is
right
slow
now.
too.
It's coming back up. Where are we?
right, so,
Going to number 10?
yeah, or 11.
11.
For 11. So in the 2010 sales worksheet, format the data range A2 to G26 is a table using the table style, dark 5 table style. So the first thing we need to do is go to the 2010 sales. And we highlight A2. Wow. E26. And go to our format table. And we want to go down to dark. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the purple one. Click OK. And that should be it. And it is.
Population prospects. How old is this?
World population prospect. I don't
Oh,
know.
this is old. 2000. Oh,
Yeah.
I got 2020. 2020.
I gotta answer this, sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
I gotta answer this. Hello?
Remove all duplicates from the table based on the values and the year and value. So as long as I'm on the table, I don't have to highlight any columns.
Number 11,
Data.
10, or 12?
12.
I'm still catching up.
Remove duplicates.
So would you highlight both?
Year and value, okay. Remove duplicates.
I think I've caught it now. Yeah, caught it.
Here. Value. 16 duplicates.
Why can't you, could you highlight C and D, year and value, and just hit remove duplicates?
Oh, there's,
Could you do that?
they got a fancy thing in there to doing that, though. Remove duplicates on the data tab, under data tools.
Yeah, but
There was a little tab that showed it,
I highlighted.
remove
So you
duplicates.
have to highlight the whole thing to use that tab, right?
Yeah, actually from line 4 down, because we put in the title rows, kind of goof it up.
So to do that,
Oh, here it is. It should be this. Oh, it's not letting me do C and D. So
Are you highlighting everything?
I highlighted C and
so
D.
you highlight everything.
Highlight everything,
So that did.
A through D. Oh, I mean, row 4 down, the
Yeah.
whole deal.
Based on year and value. That's what I did.
You did A4 to D, whatever it is.
I'm on the right one. Remove all duplicates from table based on year and value.
Yeah, so
This is
start.
year and value right here. C
Yeah,
and
but you
D.
want the whole table to be.
You'll have to highlight.
Oh, the whole oh, I'm
Table.
thinking it's just these two.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, okay.
That throws
Yeah,
you.
I got it highlighted up here.
It's
So
the
I start
question
out.
that throws you.
Oh, okay, okay. You gotta highlight the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a problem. I gotta practice that, because I'm having a problem with
Yeah, sometimes.
They remove,
to scroll the whole, to highlight the whole table like this.
yeah, that remove duplicate one is
A nice tool.
a nice tool, but it's not something you use every day. I mean, like that, the carbon list where it gave us the suppliers, showed us the suppliers, it's really nice. Here,
Remove or replace is a nice tool.
yeah,
I can never find it. But
Oh,
Find
so
and replace.
so these select year, and so these select variable, these like this. So it was 16, is that the way right? 18, unique values remain?
Yeah.
That's right.
sounds good. This next one's fun. It's kind of a goofy one. They're actually gonna have us do two different filters. So on the category column, the first one, all it wants to show is oncology and gastrointestinal. But then under pharmaceuticals, they want anything that ends with either EX or LX. They're doing two different sorts. First one's a simple sort, the other one's a little bit more funny. More funny? Funnier? Excuse me. So, first one's just by oncology and gastrointestinal, so it gives us a shorter list.
So by category?
Then we're doing is a text filter for pharmaceuticals that ends with little different thing.
And those pharmaceuticals that. Yeah,
X or LX, or the UX.
can we do all that at the same time?
Yeah, we do it at the same time. Two things to note. Ends with is actually down the list. You have to scroll down to find it. And I also need to make sure I change and to or everything will disappear. So I do and, nothing will show up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Category.
Wait, I got one line.
So wait.
You click on your-
I still have nothing.
Oh, what filter did you do pharmaceuticals in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thought I did.
you didn't-
I thought I did oncology.
Well, here it was supposed to be oncology and gastrointestinal, but pharmaceuticals was supposed to be other.
Oh, I did this.
So you gotta do two different
Yeah,
ones,
looks like you did it on
two
category.
different sorts?
Two different sorts.
Okay.
That's the end of the subject.
Just want to call you Western test.
Oh, that's why I was asking you to do it all at the same. I did it all in.
No, no,
I
they're
did
two different
that.
columns.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna do.
ER, okay.
Okay, I did it in the wrong.
So you can put both here?
No, just one there and one on this one.
That-
But there's, but you need to also put what you're doing to it, and ends with is actually down the list, you have to scroll down.
Oh, and those pharmaceuticals, they should have put pharmaceuticals in bold. That's
Yes.
So I still only got
Zero, 1, 9, 2.
EX. You said.
Let's click on this guy again, and see what you do. And,
I
EX.
typed it in there. I'm telling you, it was there.
Well, you choose a category for it to be from. Did you pull down here?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay, and you have to scroll down a little bit.
Oh, I have to do it for both.
Yeah. Your two unique things.
Ends with this or ends with.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought once it was good.
Yeah, change it to or, otherwise you get zero things in there.
They play too much.
It did work. So you have to do two sorts.
Two sorts, one on
You gotta
category.
do them one at a time though, you can't do them simultaneously.
No, they're two
That's what I was
separate,
trying to do, yeah.
two unique things, two different columns.
Yeah.
And we bounced around a little bit, who wants to do the next one? Number four.
I see that hand.
Sort the
I don't know
thing
what
about data by the variant column and then by the year column and the semicolon. So I would,
See, if you try to do it this one, one thing, I said you could, if you're any place in a consecutive thing, it'll work, where you just click someplace in there, but it doesn't work here, because we got those title rows, and I don't want those in there, so I've really got to start at row 4. So I really do have to probably highlight
Yeah, it looks like,
the whole thing. If we didn't have those title rows up there, if it was just a data table,
Yep.
we could get away with it.
oh, so it's because it's one thing in variable?
No, because it has titles up there that above variable and, all these
Oh, you have
things.
those titles?
Yeah, we don't want to sort those things, we want to just sort from row 4 down. By variant, we're adding a level by year.
Why does it keep doing that? It keeps taking me to a column. So I've highlighted this.
I went all the way down to the bottom.
So do it, oh,
Yeah.
all right, gotcha.
It might,
See, that it wouldn't be,
will it let you do it from, that's a good question.
no, let me try it again. All right, so here.
You highlight those and try to do a custom sort, what does it want to do?
Here's what I end up with, do some sort of expand the selection. So,
Okay, and now it shows
Ascending is
everything. It
yeah,
shows
it's everything.
rows 1, 2, 3, which we
Well,
don't
wait a
do.
minute, you know what? Let's try that something else. Let's try, let's see what happens. Some sort, current selection. And let's see what it does. See, it's,
Well, it might.
let's see, so we want to sort B, add level. Sort C.
No, it didn't sort it. It said it was okay.
Okay, it said it was
It
okay.
didn't sort it though.
It didn't sort it.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
last column is usually big number,
Okay,
small
so
number, big number.
Yeah. Maybe we try it. Let's go back and try something.
So it's just a sort by variant, A to Z, and then the year, right? It's just a double A double
sword.
sword.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, what I was trying to say, like, the next one's probably a good example of this, 15. If I'm any place in there and format as table, it actually chooses that range, thinks, oh, you must mean A1 to 18. But automatically chose the range, just, again, because it's consecutive, there's no spaces in there, spaces and columns or anything. Hopefully.
I don't know when I have to drag and drop and when I gotta.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily start out the first and move to last to get that to work. It does. But as an example though, if say we had a blank row in here and I tried to do that, it'll only format as table that very first part, unless I stretch it out. That's gonna have trouble with that blank row because it won't know what to do with that. That's funny. Sometimes it's very specific. Use light style 4 or something here. It says format as a table. Okay. Anyone will work.
That one was bizarre, because why that other one worked the way it did.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
I'm not quite sure. That's what's funny. I usually say, you know, the geometrics tool usually is somewhat forgiving, but once in a while it wants just a certain way.
Yeah.
But that one didn't even look like the right answer.
No, because I should have expanded the whole.
Yeah.
uh,
Tiffany, you want to do number 16? Or did you already do it? You're just waiting on us.
No, not yet. Using the ribbon, apply table style medium 3 to the table on the truck's worksheet. So we're already in the.
Oh, y'all already did number 15? I didn't do number 15. I must be behind, okay.
Well, we just started 15 or 16. 16.
Use a ribbon to create table? I didn't do that.
All right.
I'm still trying.
That one's not real specific, so any table style doesn't tell us a specific one. So you just choose a table style. Once there's someplace in the table. Home tab. No, home tab. Format as table. Yeah.
Okay, this one is easy. Using the ribbon, apply table style medium 3 to the table on the truck's worksheet. So I went to the table tools design, and then the table styles at the right, and it's the orange one, table style medium 3.
Cynthia, you want to do 17?
I knew you was gonna give me that.
How's that?
It's got like a million steps.
This is a longer one, yeah.
Yeah.
I use bathroom. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so first thing I do is go to format as table. All the way at the bottom, there's a new table style option.
Yep.
Click on that. And it says name the new table style food truck style. So I'm gonna name, excuse me, sorry, food truck style.
Yeah, so that new table style defaults to table style 1. We're actually giving it a new name.
Food
You just gotta make sure you spell it the way
truck
they did.
Yeah.
style.
It's the one place where we can have spaces in there, so you don't need to squish it together.
It says change the header row font color to blue. So I'm gonna select header row, format, and font. And I don't see color. Oh, there it is, color. Over to the right, drop down. Blue, any blue?
No, just the standard blue, I would think.
Where's the standard blue?
It's on the standard colors.
Under the standard color?
Yeah, if you hover over, it, there's light blue, blue, and dark blue, I think.
Right, so just pick,
Big blue.
oh, there it is. Okay. Apply the style to the table.
So you need to click OK, OK, and right now we haven't actually applied it. But when you go to the table styles list, it actually puts it at the very top of the list there, above lights. Now we've got food truck style up there.
Mine says,
It's at the top of the, above calculation, that's what it said.
Table
I think I've got
style,
it.
we call this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, it just says,
Mine still shows food truck style as a name.
okay,
Is that okay?
formatted it.
Style.
Now you need to apply it. So we go back to your
Table?
table tools design, table tools design. And click on the pull down.
So
Very top.
Food truck style. Go under custom,
Yeah.
that's you.
If you hovered over it, it would actually say that. Food truck style.
Wait,
Look, hold on again, I want to see the whole list. You hover over it, and you stay there.
Yeah.
It's
That's
food truck style. It shows it's the food truck style. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's kind of simple.
but I'm looking for an apply button. This is apply the style.
So you
to the
click on
table.
your applying. You see over here, it's already applied.
Oh,
Okay, well, let me,
So
all right, so we're,
let me do this.
it looks like you already have it. What do you, entering, maybe some, redo it or?
I must have redid it, I must have, all right, I got it, yeah, okay. So, yeah. That's what it was, I was trying, I didn't think it took it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's very simple style.
Yeah,
You know how I used to say apply, then okay, but they don't have that button anymore, the separate button?
Depends on the thing, because we did have okays on some things, but this one was just a matter of clicking at it to assign it, I guess you could say.
format is the table.
What are you doing over
I'm on, trying to do the next, I think I'm on the right one. I think I
About
am.
new table style.
No, I think I'm doing the next one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Or just the picture. Every season.
Okay.
Who was that? Okay, Paul, oh, this one should be yours.
Was that video? Oh, there we go, maybe that's all I needed to do. Nope, it won't, something, I'm missing something.
Built in the stove column in the current table, so only.
Oh, no, I'm at 17, I'm,
Oh,
something,
what?
yeah, it just,
Yeah, the new style should have been at the top.
Yeah.
Gotta calculate, that's what the new
Click
style.
in the table again,
click on the table.
and then just use your table tools tab. And click on the styles list.
New table style.
Yeah.
Okay. And.
Every row, oh, yeah, the title.
Yeah, put, what's it called?
Food truck style.
Style. Okay,
And we're changing the header row,
yeah, so
so header row,
header row,
and it's gotta be formatted.
so edit format,
Mhm.
and we want, blue. Blue,
Is that blue? Yeah, I think it is.
is that a blue or?
There's light blue, blue, and dark blue. Yeah, I think you're on the right one.
Make sure
No, you don't want that top one.
All right,
That's a, you want a standard color called blue. That's dark blue. No, you're right the first time moving me up here.
this is
That's
blue,
blue, yeah.
yeah, blue, yeah, that's what I thought,
Okay,
okay,
if you click on this pull down again, you'll see the custom ones right at the top there.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
oh, that should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I missed going through the steps.
You gotta stay woke, Paul. That's their work.
See, I looked over her shoulder and then.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
All right, filter the stove column in the current table so only trucks with stoves appear.
It's sort of simple filter, I guess you'd say. Just have to figure out that yes means, yeah, they got a stove, and no means they don't have a stove.
Sorry to keep walking out, guys, I'm sorry.
Got it?
Next job.
Let's see.
Tiffany, you want to do 19?
Thank you.
Coming up. It says using the sort button on the ribbon, sort the current table by the heater column, then add a new level and sort the table by the date of last service column.
Nicely coming up. There we go.
They didn't tell us
So
any
that's a
order or
custom
anything,
sort.
so I would just use whatever default we got. In my case, heater was A to Z and date of service, last service was oldest to newest, which will probably work.
If I don't know what to do, I'm fine.
I'm sorry, so we just do the drop downs, right? So,
Yeah.
table of heater column, then add a new, I'm sorry, so the current table, add a heater column. And then what are we saying? Sort how?
Date of last service.
Oh, I'm doing that. Okay.
Yeah, I think I want to do a custom sort either from the data tab or from the
Sorry.
tab.
Okay, yeah, so then I want to sort, from the data tab, then going to sort by heater column,
Mhm.
and then leave that A to Z, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then add a level, go to date of last service column. And then keep that oldest to newest. Okay.
That's long. Sorry. Is it because I ain't used to, it says on the ribbon, so.
Yeah, so I would use either the data tab or the home tab. Use custom sort button.
You said you do get some switch on. And then by data last service.
The tool is a little squirrely, but 9 times out of 10, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I left out a comma or a capital letter or something.
I think I forgot to click. Did you say you had to click off of the?
Yeah, that's what I've done.
It's
Or
safe
you-
to do that, especially like on
or
some of the things.
enter or something, because if you don't do that, I found that it'll
Yeah,
tell you that you're bad.
like if you're typing in a comment or something, if you're still in the comment box, it doesn't know you've finished. Or you're typing something in, like even that simple one where it wanted to just type the word average. If I typed average but stayed in that cell, it would think I'm not done.
Yeah.
Like, wrong. Oh no, I spelled it right.
Alright.
Using the ribbon, remove the duplicates from the truck column.
Usually on select all, like. here, all.
Yeah, in this case, in the instructions, they actually say use the unselect button, which is kind of nice. They don't have that very often, but usually we just uncheck all.
So should I be on the truck header or should I be on the column A when I'm working with this?
Uh,
column?
Any place in there at the board. It's already in a table.
It's funny, in this case, it didn't tell me it removed 20 things, and left 10 or something like that. It just did it.
Yeah. So you just want to continue?
Yeah. And when you hit continue, even though I think it said 25 someplace, it's actually only 20 questions in here. You probably got test summary. We'll go ahead and submit it. And
Continue the test.
you'll bring up your results,
What am I doing? Oh, submitting?
submitting. You guys are 100%. I missed one because I just skipped one that wasn't working on me anymore. Next, I'll just show you the summary. But this is good that I missed one. I want to show you one thing. So I can look at, you can review the questions. It's got it by skill set. But if I review the details, it brings up another window, shows specifically what I did by questions and everything. Oh, there it is. I missed question number 8. If I wanted to, I could review questions. It brings up the list of questions. I could actually click on 8 and review it. And what it's going to do is basically create a mini test with one question. And now it's just got the one question in there. It's this one about filtering for black, which I had right the first time and then wrong the next couple times. So I don't need to do it, but if you miss 2 or 3 questions, one, just review those 3 questions.
Well, you go back and redo these tests.
Yeah, you can do the whole test over, but if you want to just focus, just finish this, oh, I got 3 wrong, let me just look at those 3 and rework those 3. You can do this kind of thing.
I'm sorry, guys. That was the recruiter calling me about the job.
Oh,
Those
cool.
papers out. I'm sorry.
All right, it's work.
What number are you guys on?
We're done.
I'm sorry.
There's only 20 questions in there though, so
Oh,
it's a shorter one. We'll take a short break. Might be back catch up, and then I'll have to talk about what we do next, because we've got 40 minutes left.
40.
40.
That many?
It says 12:50. My math is right. It's 1:30.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I thought this clock was wrong. Okay, why?
I trust the computer clocks more than I trust most everything else. Like our wall clock out there is maybe a minute or 2 fast.
Oh, Lord, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're going place where the front office always was on bar times, as I called it.
Bar time?
10 minutes fast, I'm going.
Why is this clock?
Bar time.
I come up there and I'm looking at for 3 o'clock, maybe I schedule my meeting for 3 o'clock. And I'd be up there, usually I try and get there 5 minutes before if I was on the shop floor, and I come up and it's already at. What? So I finally realized that it was a bar, what I call bar
Bar
time,
time.
because the bar time always has the clocks 15 minutes fast.
So you can get out of there
So that they can keep
first in
people,
the bar.
yeah, keep people out before the bar closes.
Oh, before it closes. I thought you meant to get in there.
No, they get them out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if the bar closes at 2:30, you clear them out at 2:15.
15.
So that used to be, that used to be called hard time. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is now. I mean, with everybody that can access so much.
Oh, post this is. No, it's in the worksheet.
Huh?
Any place in the,
Okay,
in the
just on the
table.
worksheet.
As long as you got the table, you see we got table tools up there.
Yeah, okay. So then,
You're good.
what's the little tab that you
You can do it in there.
Yeah, the tab here.
Yeah.
Use the unselect button to clear all the boxes from prompts.
Yeah.
So yeah, the unselect, okay. And then hit okay.
No. We want to select one thing. We want to select trucks.
Oh, you do this from truck, okay, sorry.
They made it easier for us to
Trucks, from the truck column, okay. In other words, you select, unselect, and then you select what you need, okay.
Shorten it, very little, just a couple of things out of it. That's it.
I'm gonna have to just go, review this, especially,
Sure.
particularly for work, I'm gonna need to know Excel, because he's already saying. Because the results that we get, and I've gotta do reports, we have to use Excel. So I have to kind of be ready for it.
Okay, go ahead and submit it. We're actually done with this one. And yes.
I might be
Next.
wrong.
90%, as I was just showing, we could actually go back in there and like review questions.
Okay.
You don't have to do it now, but you probably just missed a couple questions. You can go back and retry them.
Yeah.
Next, it'll just wrap it up and take you back to the home screen.
So this is
I'm just saying.
on these computers. I can go on my,
Mhm.
I gotta put this in on my
Team
computer at
viewer,
home
Team viewer, and you can log in.
and log in and practice. Okay, and then the GF Learn,
GCF Learn.
GCF Learn,
You can Google that and just type in GCF Learn Free. Look it up.
and just more information on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of
Do they
fact,
have practice? They have the practice. Yeah, they did have the practice with GC.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I got a link in here for it. Actually, I don't know if I emailed you this one. If I did, you can just click that link. It's so easy.
I have an older computer, so does it matter if I don't
No.
have? Okay, so that's old.
It doesn't matter, because if I click on here, go to GCF.
Okay, so
It's already got it in there.
okay.
And if I just click on Microsoft Office, it's actually got
Okay, it's got.
XP 2007, 13, 10. It's got all these older ones and tips. But I would probably just use how you write the
Word,
system.
but I just had Word in all. So I'm okay with Word, because I need to have Word for Word too.
Mhm.
So, but definitely Excel. And the formulas, you're right, the formulas are really good.
Yeah. And with each of these, you can go into these and do them as many times as you want to. I mean, this is the free stuff, which I kind of like. But even with, even in geometrics, you can do these over and over. And if you don't have, like, you don't have time to finish it, you can save it. Like in this case, Paul
You
has
save it, yeah.
some saved to it. You can go back and fix it, or even if you did finish it, like you just did, you test it.
But this is different than the training. This is actually going to prepare us for the exam. Is what this
These
is.
first three are the ones that are like the exam.
Okay.
These are the ones that say,
Yeah, that's core test one training.
yeah, these are the ones they created. These five here are the ones they created by chapter. These are the ones, this is what we just did. We just did number.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Now I'll catch up. I'll do it over the weekend.
Yeah, and play with them as many times as you want. Keep going into them.
So the first thing I'm gonna have to install Geometric on my computer at my house.
No, you need Team Viewer.
I'm sorry, Team Viewer, yeah, I'm sorry.
The other one, yeah.
Yeah, to get to Geometric.
You get to one of these machines.
Yeah.
And same thing with the other stuff. If you log into a machine, somebody's working on it, go find another machine to work on.
Okay. And you
Paul
got.
Paul had this problem the other day. He was actually in the machine working on a test, and somebody else logged in and started doing their Gmail.
This is great, I'm glad you did this, I'm gonna need this. They had that little list of the machines, right, for Schaumburg, our list,
You were just looking at it.
the little list, yeah.
But it doesn't matter, you can log in.
Yeah, that's true.
Anywhere, right? Any one of the machines.
That's true. Certain machines, you may log into it, if it works slow, you don't want to find out. Paul and I were just talking about this, even mine was working slow today, and, why?
She wants me to fill out the papers.
Ah.
I want you to start. So I'll just leave early, I'll just keep it like it is now, I just have to leave, come early and just leave early once I start working.
Okay, for today, even though we haven't finished all the different areas, I think we'll go into skill review 1, which actually will have this random, well, you can see, he's got a lot of questions in it. It'll be a variety of questions. Some we've already seen from chapter 1, 2, 3. They'll have some stuff from formulas and other things, but not too many. We can use the
Well, you got me here to help, but we can use the light bulb too. As I mentioned, I think, let me show you an example of one of these top ones. I'll just demonstrate it without you having to go into it. Go home. Where's my home button? All right. Go home.
So a skills review free training? Is it free?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's my home button.
Is it,
No, one.
as one?
What's this?
Keith, they're asking, I pressed one, they're saying there are test resources that need to be downloaded in order to take this test. Would you like to download and
Yeah,
install?
just say yes and then click OK, but we haven't actually gone into anything yet.
Oh,
I was gonna give you an example here. Core practice exam one, this is what it would look like if you actually went into the exam. Except you don't want that kind of question. And it's a little different view and style. It's actually timing me too, but that's just, I'm in the training mode, but what it's gonna do here is start out at 0 and work its way up. If I was doing this in the test mode, it would start out at 50 minutes and click down. So we've got a similar kind of Excel file at the top. The difference, I think, is down here. It says project 1 of 7, so there's 7 different projects, and all the information is going to be down here. And right now it's on overview, and there's not much I can see. So you actually have to scroll down here to see things.
Is this a test?
Yeah. And the questions are down here then. So it says in the beginning of A16 sheet 1, list comma delimited source file. So actually this is going here, and they actually want me to insert a comma delimited file called more toys. The help button here is a little different place. So if I click on the help button here, I have to scroll down because it actually puts the instructions down below where I was.
Can you move that to the top or no?
You can move this up and down. Actually, I think I'd like to see a little bit larger size, but it's not really large. Anyway, let me just pretend I'm doing it the way they want. So in this case, they're actually inserting a external data. It's not quite the same as a text file. It's from other sources. No, it's not. Let me look at the helps again. Oh, it's data from text.
What?
From text. And you gotta go find the Gmetrics folder. If it doesn't pop up right here, it's under documents. Gmetrics templates. There's one called more toys. This is actually just a flat file of information, but I'm importing it into Excel. It's gonna walk me through some steps here. They said, if you want to see the helps, you can click the help button again and it'll go away. They want it to be a comma delimited source file. Well, delimited, okay, it's got that. So I'm going to click on next. Here it says tab. I'm going to take tab off, change it to comma, and now you see down here it kind of broke it up in the different columns. Got some other things in here, but we don't really need to change anything else. We can just click on the finish button. And I'm going to put an A16, yep. Okay, boom. What it did, it brought in this was actually the data file that it brought in, but now it's changed it over to now being inserted into Excel. When you finish a question, you can mark it for complete, which is what these little check boxes are.
Oh, you ain't gonna see if it's right? Mark for everything?
No, you can't do it quite the same way we did with the individual questions.
Oh.
So now they want me to change sheet 1 to a blue accent. Sheet 1, the tab. They want me to recolor the tab to blue accent 2, darker. It's blue accent 2, darker 25%, lighter, lighter, lighter. Darker 25%. It's hard to see, but if I click on another one, you can see it's I don't know if that's right. I thought it was the same color. Tab color. Oh,
40%.
I was in the wrong one. Here's blue accent 2. I've done this enough, but it didn't look right. It should look pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as both. Hard to check. If I was done with this, this is the first of 5 projects, call it first file. I could click on Save Project. Are you sure? Oh, well, it just took me completely out. In the exam, you save each project to go on to the next project. Didn't mean to do that, so I just put it in my save files.
If you don't save, what happened?
It'll probably automatically save it. I want to minimize that other stuff.
And do you actually have to mark it completed?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that way. Yeah, and if I was in a hurry, I would not bother to do all that. Anyway, let's assume I've finished everything in that one. This summary button will actually show you everything there is in there. So this is the one that shows, okay, I've completed those 2. This is the only place where that checkbox would show up. If I collapse that one, I see there's these others, and right now it's showing red X's in there. Well, you haven't done anything with these other guys yet.
Are those the other tests?
These are the other files within this one. Each one has usually 5 tasks, 3 to 6 tasks, let's say. Some of them actually have more. Watched somebody do a test last week, and one question had 3 questions to it, and one file had 7, I think. The total usage is about 35 questions. Once you were all done with all 7 of these, then you could click on Finish, and it will go ahead and grade it for you.
Okay.
And I'm in the training mode for this still. If I was in the test mode, instead of 25, 26, 27, it would be timing down. Tests are 50 minutes. And if you click on Restart here, it's just going to restart this one project, this one file.
Oh.
So I could start over. Oh, I goofed up this one. I could start over and then start on task 1 again.
Okay.
I mentioned the help button brings up the instructions underneath the question. It's a little hard to see them sometimes.
But that's
And
not on the test, right?
Those will stay on there as long as this button's highlighted in yellow. If you don't care to see that, if it's getting in the way, you can uncheck that, then you just have the question. And these 2 will be giving you a variety of questions from all 5 chapters. We've only gone through 3 chapters now, so it's going to bring in stuff for the functions and charts and stuff that we haven't really touched yet. So I'm just going to save this one, close it. It's fun. Next class or the following class, we'll actually play with one of these because I want you to get a little bit familiar with that format. If you want to go for the CERT test, it's a lot easier to work through that and work through those.
Who does the certification? Who the administrator? No, administrator. What
A company called Pearson, your Certiport. It's a similar tool to Geometrics. And so actually Pearson owns both tools. And so I do the certification tests. I'm a proctor for it. And the actual, even though the test takes 50 minutes to actually do it, especially if it's your first time, it takes about maybe an hour and a half because you've got 2 registrations. Similar to what we did register for Geometrics, you register with Certiport, and then you also register with Microsoft. Because if you pass the test, they send you a nice certificate saying, you are a Microsoft Office specialist in Excel or Word or whichever one you've got. And you can add that to your resume too.
So is it true that if you take the like certifications in Microsoft in a certain order, you'll get like a master certification or something?
There's various levels, like with Excel, there's the basic Microsoft Office for Excel. There's an expert, Microsoft Office Excel expert, it's 1 notch up, and then above that, there's a master. So at least within Excel, you've got 3 different categories to go for. If you get the master, they assume you can do almost anything in Excel.
So I think someone told me before, like if you I don't know which all ones you could get certified in, but if you took them in order, like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, took them in a certain order, then you automatically get like a,
It's bigger
yeah.
thing. Perhaps, I'm not that familiar with it. Most of my students do one or two, or got one student from here in Schaumburg that's actually done Excel, PowerPoint, Word now at the Microsoft specialist level. And we don't normally teach, we haven't normally taught the higher level ones. With Excel though, sometimes they add on one class to do some of the advanced topics, which are like creating pivot tables, using macros and VLOOKUPs.
That's what I want. Okay.
Want VLOOKUPs?
Pivot tables, macros, and pivot.
So that's an option for this class. We could add, this is a five class thing, but we could add a sixth one to go through some of those things. The expert, well, this depends on what you're going to do. The expert, in my opinion, is not really needed for most of us.
Yeah.
It gives them some wacky formulas and stuff. It also does some of the stuff like those three things I mentioned, so those are good. They use VLOOKUPs used a lot of times for doing inventory. You have these long spreadsheets with lots of product and different things. It can be real helpful for that. I use pivot tables quite a bit. And charts are nice. They give you a visual a lot of times of what you got there. You got just a bunch of numbers. Who's our best salesman? I don't know. I can't see it there. Oh, there he is. It's that guy. So charts are really good for presentations especially, but even for showing information, trends. And with this version of Microsoft, they've actually added some new chart types too. So we've got a few more fancy bells and whistles in there. It used to be they just had columns and pie charts. Now they got a bunch of new ones. Some of them are, and depending on what you're doing, some are better for one kind of presentation than others. Some of them don't work for everything. So if we had just some, like a table like we were playing with, what it would probably do if we had one of those tables for January, February, March, and you did a pie chart, it would probably just pull in 1 month, make the pie chart out. Wouldn't necessarily bring in the whole year or something. Got one called up. This one that basically creates portional boxes out of all your information. So if you had 5 topics and there are 5 groups of things like they use, I know in our in here they use the books, the book sales stuff. So you got fiction, fiction. Do you remember these ones? I've seen the same things. Sci-fi, fiction, romance, and 2 others. And there you can just see one portion of it if you put it in a pie chart. That's one where a trend chart or a line chart sometimes. So you can see over time, yeah, we're selling more of these, or oh, it's dropping off. That's class 5. So now we don't have 40 minutes anymore. But I'm going to suggest that we open up Core Skill Review 1 training, which is going to be this variety of questions. And if we get something that you're not familiar with yet, that's fine. I'll just walk us through it.
This is a new core skill.
Take a test, new test. By the way, if you get part way in there and you're wait a minute, I want to go back. That little house at the top, the home button, normally will take you back to this view. This is going to be your normal view. By the way, you don't need to go to it right now. One more bit of information under Student Portal. You could look at your old tests. You can't change them or anything most of the time. I wouldn't use that. I would just go ahead and take another test again if you want to redo something. They're out there too. So new test, Excel and Core Skill Review 1 training. 61 questions. Like I say, you're going to see some things that we've seen before, but we're using the same. They're using the same questions I stole from them for putting those chapter ones. Annual sales worksheet. Use the find and select tool to find the cell in the open spreadsheet that contains conditional formatting and apply a thick outside border. I'm going to use find and select. And Paul, I know you were talking about find and replace and find and select.
I always use it for find and replace, but we can use it for going to formulas, comments, conditional formatting, lots of different things. If I don't see it there, this go-to or go-to special actually sort of brings up the same thing, but in a dialog box. So they wanted us to find conditional formatting. So I clicked on that, it actually took me to F16, the total box.
Yep.
And a thick outside border, one of the border things under fonts. And they call it thick outside border. Well, call it the same name, that's good. This is one that's hard to see when you're actually in it, but when you get out of it, then you can see a little bit, oh, okay, put a black box around it. One preview of what we're going to get in formulas. On your home tab, we've got this auto sum button over on the right side. It's got a pull down where we can do sum and average and things like that. We can also do that really from this FX button. It's always there. Brings up this dialog box. We'll eventually see that the formulas tab up there has all sorts of categories that we can go to by math, dates and stuff. It also has the auto sum button there too. If I want to do just a summation though, you just click on the auto sum, even without doing the pull down, it'll assume that you want to do a sum. And it's pretty smart, kind of guesses usually at the right range. In my case, it stopped at B6 going up, going below. If I hit enter, it'll give us the sum there of 67,000.
Yep.
They want us to carry it across to F. So all I'm going to do is hit the pull handle and drag it across sideways. 297,000 on the grand total. That should do it for that one. Oh, you want to try number 3? I know we've seen this one before.
Can you review?
Wait, can you, I'm still on number 2. I'm still on number 2.
Sorry. Well, I'll go to the first cell you want to use.
Oh, okay. This one?
Yeah. And you can do it from here, but well, you should do it from here.
Yeah, I
Click
did.
on that guy. Just click on the sigma. You don't even have to do the pull down. You can do it that way too.
Yeah,
And it shows the range. If the range looks good, just hit it.
just hit it, and it should automatic. Yeah, it's automatic.
Then you can do
You
it.
can just drag it on, right?
Yeah, you can drag it across.
Drag it across.
Get that little plus, get the little black plus bar in the corner, bottom right corner.
Right there?
Did you get the black plus bar? Plus bar. I didn't see it. I saw a big white plus bar. Got the corner. Point to the corner, get that black plus bar.
Like that,
And
just
now
drag
right
it.
there.
I just drag it, it's automatic. Okay, no,
There you go.
okay, thank you.
You okay?
I'm waiting on you to show me how to concatenate.
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 I don't know why they like concatenate. I guess in the newest version too, that's a long word. They've actually shortened it. You could actually just put in concat, 6 letters, and it would actually pull it up too. So J4, first off, I gotta go to J4. It's gonna be a formula. That's why I actually like this little FX here, because it brings up the dialog box, and I like to have this defaulted to recently used, because a lot of times, especially in here, we'll have recently used a bunch of the same things.
Where's the FX you were just talking about?
This little FX here,
Oh, yeah, I thought you had one.
you can actually get it to it by the auto sum and the pull down where it says more functions. Or you could get to it on the formula tab. So it's like a lot of different ways to get to the functions.
So first we're gonna go to J4.
So I'm going to open up concatenate.
And they've asked us to do, let me move this out of the way. I'm moving
Yes,
it.
those to,
B4, this is Kane. I'm clicking on text 2 then, and all I'm gonna do is hit the space bar once. And I'm gonna go to text 3. I'm gonna point to A4.
just hit the space bar.
Yeah, it may be a little hard to see once you hit the space bar, it's actually gonna put a double quote on a blank.
A4,
A4 is gonna be, by the way, it shows you
yeah.
here what you got, and actually shows you a preview of what it should look like when you're done.
So B, okay, so in text 1.
Text 1 is B4,
Mm-hmm.
text 2, I just hit the space bar.
I didn't do nothing.
Then
It's spaced over.
Text 3 is A4. And I'm a mouser, so I just pointed and clicked, but you could actually type those in too if you want to type them. Except for, well, space bar, you have to hit the space bar. Oh, that's
I didn't do it. I clicked it one.
Something really bad in space.
By the way, one thing I kind of like about this too, now that I got a formula in there, it actually shows me the formula up here that I did.
Yeah.
And if I goofed it up, wanted to rework it, I could just click on this FX button again and it'll bring the dialog box up. Like if I put in B3 or some other thing, you can edit it that way.
So wait, text 1, wait,
Text 1 is going to be B4.
and just B4 and then A4, right?
Text 2 is going to be a space bar.
Space, so it'd be B4, space bar.
Space bar, wait, B4. And then text 2 is the space bar,
Yep.
and then A4, right?
Yeah, text 3 is A4.
And then A4. So it's gonna,
So in J4, it should be putting a key enable out there.
They don't have the full name. So they want us to.
We had,
display content.
I think Paul and I did this, we had this one thing in that long thing about Joan Lambert. You know, and it had a bunch of columns,
So it added.
like great big long candidate. We're just putting a few things together here, but you can have a long list of things to put together. Don, you want to do number 4 for us? Are you done with 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to,
Hey, Pop,
Hey, Pops. Hey, Pops.
I was gonna say Pop.
My granddaughter's name, Poppy. Hey, Pops.
Hey, Pop, I love this one.
Yes, my dear.
Remember, so in the past, I remember like we would get a spreadsheet with the names together in one cell, and then what you used to do is separate them. So that you could have to do that. Is that a different function?
That's it's a different function. There's a couple ways we could do a left or a right. There's actually a function called left, so if you want to pull in, say, X amount of cells from the left. There's another one that I think actually allows you to split it. You have a space in there. Left and right, I think, are once used sometimes. Then we had that one thing, like if you had a phone number, we want just have the area code. You do a left in the first three things, you know, just then, 312 or 847.
But what's that function called? That's not good cat.
That's called left.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, left and right are some of the functions. Actually, you go to the formula tab in the text stuff. The text one. Shows you some of these different things. Concatenates in there, left and right, place.
Okay, gotcha.
There's one in here, unlike Word, in Word's got this neat thing where if you got a word that's all capitalized and you want to just capitalize the first letter, Word has a little button that you can do that real quickly. Excel isn't set up that way, but there's a thing in there called proper, a function called proper. So if it's all capitalized, I can click on that function and change it to just have the first letters capitalized. So a little bit different thing, but to do to have the same result.
The same result.
Yeah.
On this one,
What's this?
so we click on J4,
Mhm.
then we go to I had to hunt this down, because up in that ribbon is always, so you gotta go to review.
You can,
All right, is there another way to do that?
yeah.
You can, and you got the new comment up there, or you can right click on J4
Uh-huh.
and find name, oh, I'm sorry, not define name, insert comment.
So right click on J4.
Okay.
And insert comment, it's right there.
So you do it either way?
Yeah.
Do a shortcut thing.
And this is the one in particular I know Geometrics doesn't like this, because if I had left my cursor in here and hit next, it'd probably say I got it wrong. So if I click out of it back in, I'm just hovering over it now. But if I was still like typing in there, it would think you're not done. It must not be right. I think the comment one in particular is one that they really want to make sure we finished.
Yeah.
Cindy, you want to do this one? You're reading it out there.
Okay, yeah. So it wants us to autofill to extend the information in A4, which is a date.
Yeah.
And they want us to bring it over all the way to 833. So I'm gonna get the black plus sign.
Yeah.
And just drag.
You can drag it, or in 2016, you get the black plus bar and double click.
Double click and it would,
And go down automatically.
The black plus sign over
Yeah.
A4?
Wait,
Yep.
way to go. You said just double click?
Yeah, once you get that black plus bar there, you can double click and it'll just carry it down.
this carries it down.
In this case,
Oh, yeah. we did.
So it just carry it?
it carries it down and ends,
This is not a
just
black.
ends on line
In the lower
33.
right-hand corner,
You know what, I'll
no,
bring it.
Oh, this one?
it'd be the other corner.
Bottom right
Oh, the
corner,
other? Oh, okay, and just drag it? Oh, and just drag it?
drag it, or
Double, there you go.
Oh, okay, I see.
Or you can double click it and it'll fill it in.
Oh, okay, automatically.
that double click is the new thing in this version.
How can you know when you could double click? Because I tried double click before.
Oh,
and
it
it didn't
automatically
work.
done it.
Then I just drug it.
If,
That works.
if it has some boundaries, like in this case, we had a line down there that said the word totals.
Yeah.
And
So
it knew
then
it
it
came down
stops.
to that point. and stopped.
Gotcha.
If I was just in a blank worksheet and I had June 1st in there, I might not know what I want to do. So there you might have to drag it. If there's some kind of boundaries or things already set up in there, it might go down to where you're, got something different.
Yeah, so the one that we just did before, that had the cane enabled,
Mhm.
so she showed me that when she drug it, or
dragged
dragged
it
it down, yeah,
It-
that it did all the names,
Mhm.
but it didn't double click on that. Maybe
Yeah,
it
there's certain things that don't. We'll see this, I think, when we talk about inserting line spark lines or column spark lines. Even though we have maybe a column of data and stuff, and we created one, double click that, it doesn't carry it down either. You have to drag it.
Oh,
So I
so-
probably had different programmers working on different parts. One guy said, oh yeah, let's use the fast fill. Somebody else, what's that? So yeah, it's kind of quirky that way. Most of them, fast fill will work if you got, something like that there. How about this, the table one?
June worksheet, apply table style light 4 to the cells A3 through D34. So you need to highlight. First, you need to make sure you're on the June worksheet.
Yeah.
Number 1, and then start with A3, highlight all the way down to D34. And then go to your table and click over till you get table style light 4, which is the 4th.
Light green one. As a matter of fact, I think we had this in the
Yeah.
the one I put together for this chapter.
Yeah.
We talked about hyperlinks earlier today, so here's the example of one. So we want to be on the title. You can get there a couple different ways with this too. So if I want to insert, links is going to be way over on the right side. I'm a mouser though, so I prefer just right clicking on it. And at the bottom of the list is link.
Oh, it doesn't say hyperlink anymore.
No, it just says link.
Yeah,
They've shortened it. I don't know why.
yeah. It throws me. I'm looking for hyperlink.
Yeah. I'm sort of the same way. And we've got it up. You don't want us to change the name, we can leave that how it displays, but we're gonna type in www.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm still trying to,
Where is the hyperlink?
I'm still on the last one. Let me catch you.
Oh.
Yeah, there's two
Get it from
different,
the
two different places now for the hyperlink. So if you're in insert, it's the word links.
Actually, on the monster too, it's also links.
Yeah,
Used to be called
See,
hyperlink.
I'm on inserts and I don't see links. Insert.
Why can't you insert?
See links.
Can you insert?
Oh,
Yeah, you can do
okay,
insert or
okay,
you can
okay.
do
it there.
But we
But
did
I-
right.
yeah, the word- The fact that it says
Okay.
links,
Oh,
throw
we do
it
it
through
this
me.
way?
Either way.
I'm used to seeing the words hyperlink.
Yeah, so I right click and use the link one.
Okay.
It'll have to be, right now it's on an email address, you really want to be on a website.
www.fusionphone.com. Okay, yeah. Can I just type it in there?
Where it says address,
Mhm.
the bottom there, that's where you
Yeah,
get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's probably one with fewer spaces.
Kept pulling up Amazon or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you said it's up to.
All insert. So